San Diego Comic-Con 2024, Unico delays, New Wave Toys updates, Arcade1up fail, the FoxCade MVS. It's a 2-hour show, folks. Buckle up. It's going to be a bumpy ride. Or smooth ride. It's going to it's one of the two. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Another episode of This Week, the show where we talk about what happened this week in home arcades, episode 153. Hope everybody's having a spectacular weekend. Sadly, tomorrow is Monday. We got to go back to work. What can you do? We got to go to work. We got to pay the bills. We got to fund this expensive habit that we all have. It is what it is. It is what it is. But, you know, such is life. Speaking of such is life, tonight I'm drinking. Not heavily, moderately, because I don't know if you noticed, we have a 2-hour show tonight. There's so much I'm packing in this show tonight. I don't want to rush through it. I want to take my time. There's some things that not necessarily they're not really arcade related per se, but there's some big implications in the nerddom geek culture. If you're a fan of pop culture, there's some stuff we really need to talk about tonight. San Diego Comic-Con, didn't have as much arcade news, but it's got some good stuff we need to talk about. Some toys, some movie stuff. I'm excited to talk about it because I just have to. I have to talk to. I got to get it out. So we're going to extend the show. We're going to go 2 hours tonight. Unfortunately, that means for the members, there is not going to be an after show tonight, but there will be next week. I apologize. Please don't get too mad at me. But the thing is going to make that easier, that pain, that anger, it's going to soothe it. There's a little bit of drink tonight. I'm drinking Jefferson's not as always, but we're still into this bottle. And didn't really drink much this weekend because I was working. Yeah, I had to go over to my sister-in-law's house and stain her deck to make some money to pay for the stuff that I'm doing, because that's the reality of the situation. We don't all get stuff given to us for free. And, if you want to afford this stuff, you got to do what you got to do. Kind of working a second job. I know many of you are out there doing the exact same thing. If you want to support this hobby, you got to put in the work. So to all of you out there working that second job, not to pay for something crucial, but to pay for something fun, I salute you. Drink up. So much to talk about tonight. So much good stuff. I mean, there's maybe some potentially negative, but overall positive, I think, for the most part. We're going to talk about it all. Don't worry. No stone will be left unturned tonight. So we talked about the drink. The other thing we got to talk about is the poll question. Every single week here on the 19K Fox Show, this week show, we always have a poll question. Tonight is no different. The question tonight is going to be simply this: how would you rate or grade the Arcade1up Golden Tee Midway Cab? Obviously, there's a few of us out there in the community that have actually played it, but the rest of us haven't. I'm going to assume the games play about as good as they do on the Golden Tee cabinet and the Midway Legacy, respectively. So let's assume that is the case and those games play that well. How would you rate it? How would you grade it? What would you give it? So you got 4 options: A, B, D, and F. I don't want anybody sticking in the middle of the road. I'm going to make you make a decision tonight. So A is exactly what I wanted. It's a buy for me. B is it's more good than bad, still a buy. D is okay, but it's not for me, no buy. And of course, the last one is F, totally missed the mark, no buy. Those are your 4 options. So we got 2 buys, 2 no buys. Let me know what you think about it, the severity of your opinions. 46 votes, 47 votes so far. Jump in there. And if you're not sure exactly what we're talking about, don't worry. Towards the end of the show, we're going to talk about the actual cabinet itself, all the information we have so far, and discuss it in excruciating detail. I'm sure we're going to have some varied opinions about that, which is going to make the show that much more fun. Okay, so what else is going on? So this weekend, I was able to finish up. If you saw my community post, if you follow me on Instagram, I finished up the MVS. I'm excited about it. We're going to talk about it just a little bit later in the show, but that was the big thing I got taken checked off the list. Video still has to be made. That's coming out. Probably look forward to that video maybe Tuesday. Give me an extra day in there to make sure I get it all straight. One thing that didn't go so well is the Chihiro board in my Outrun 2 cabinet. I got the new one from China, and I thought everything was great. They only sent me half of the equation. It's basically an A board and a B board, for lack of a better term. I don't know exactly what the 2 boards are called. They sent me one of the 2. You got to have both. You got to have both, especially the top one that they didn't send me has the security chip inside of it that allows me to play Outrun 2 SP. Didn't work. So I got half. I'm halfway there. They're sending the other half. I guess I don't know if they just forgot or originally was 2 different shipments. I'm not exactly sure, but I got the other one shipped. As soon as that gets here, I can finally get Outrun 2 SP wrapped up, and that'll be awesome. And that video will be coming to you. I know that's been long overdue because this cabinet came home a while ago. And if it had been working properly, that video would have already been done. It is what it is. Okay, enough with the editorial notes and all that good stuff. We got a lot to talk about tonight, but don't worry. Get back, relax, grab yourself a drink. Let me know what you're drinking in the comments section. If you're watching this on the replay or in the chat right now, and let everybody else know what you're drinking, what you're doing, how your weekend was, what your week looking like. Has anybody seen Wolverine and Deadpool or Deadpool and Wolverine? I have not seen it yet. I'm going to watch that tomorrow. Really excited about it. Please, everybody in the chat, no spoilers. Okay, the movie just came out. There's some people that haven't seen it like me, don't know anything about it. I'm actually excited about it, but it's one of those weird things. It's R-rated. If you got kids, you can't really go see it with your kids. And this is a funky time where my youngest is 17, so he's going to go watch it with his friends, and I'm going to go watch it all by myself. It's very sad. But my other two boys are they're away. They're off on not foreign adventures because they're still stateside, but one's in the Army, one's in the Navy. So it's just going to be Fox going to the movie theater by myself. It's kind of sad because I always used to take the boys when they were all PG-13 movies. But R-rated, it is what it is. So I'm going to check it out Monday, and I'm excited to talk about that. And maybe next week talk about it a little bit. Maybe give a miniature review, or just a thumbs up, a thumbs down. I'll probably just do a community post and say, hey, listen, it's worth checking out. It's not worth checking out, whatever. But I'm excited about that. But I'm excited right now to talk about everybody that stopped by, and especially the first 10. We're going to talk to a lot of you tonight, but let's go ahead and acknowledge the first 10, the top 10, the first 10 comments of the day. Coming in at 11:30 is Game Broker 84. Thank you so much for being here, buddy. As always, happy Sunday, Fox. Will you be getting the new Arcade Golden Tee at Costco? What if it goes on sale at $2.99? I'm gonna make a note. We're gonna talk about this. I'm gonna go, okay, so what if $2.99? That will, okay, I'll answer that question later because I got to give that a little bit of thought. Give it a little bit of thought. Coming in number 2 is Frank D. What's going on, buddy? Thank you so much for being here. Still astonished the Golden Tee / Midway cab is real. Needs Atari games like Centipede. Absolutely. Absolutely. Coming in at number 3 is Arcade Dave with a wee bit of a story to tell. I guess he stopped by, swung into Cincinnati. Headed to Cincy last Thursday with my wife to see Foo Fighters. I had some friends actually go to the Foo Fighters concert. I asked how mad would she be if we headed to Fox's Arcade instead of the concert. She said, sounds good. That's a keeper, folks. But you could have done both. You could have gone to the concert and then swung by the arcade. Send me a message. You could absolutely stop by and check it out. Yeah, I had some friends go to the Foo Fighter concert. Kind of bummed I didn't go, but there's only so many hours in the day. Thank you so much for being here. Arcade Dave. Coming in at number 4 is Gino78, 23 iffy. If I sure. Happy Sunday to all. I'm in Texas and working in the rain, doing traffic. I guess waiting a little longer won't hurt. Man, that's not good. That's all kinds of horrible. It's probably hot too. Hot, raining, and you're in the traffic. Great. Awesome. You hang in there, buddy, because we are here. We are live. We are rocking and rolling. Coming in at number 5 is Angelo P. What's going on, buddy? Good evening, Fox and Chad. I hope everyone is having a great weekend. Looking forward to the show and hearing about the mystery cab from New Wave Toys. It is a mystery to say the same. Oh, by the way, this show is much better than the Olympics. Wow. That's high praise, because I can guarantee you one thing. They try a lot harder than I do. Not that I don't try hard, but damn, they're dedicated for sure. Coming in at the number slicks, the number slicks slot, 6 spot is Zero Redux RDJ. RDJ, really? Well, gonna recoup from the acolytes somehow. Did you see Deadpool? Haven't seen Deadpool yet. Gonna see it tomorrow. Can't wait to talk about it. I can't really talk, even tomorrow, I can't talk about it openly because I'm sure there's spoilers. It's all about the multiverse and it's just Deadpool, and I can't take it too seriously. So it should be a lot of fun. But I want to make sure everybody's seen it before I go. I would hate spoiling it for sure. Coming in the number 7 spot is Dan Z, simply saying hello, my friend. Hello. Just called to let you know. Coming in at number 8 is Show Gecko. What's up, buddy? Fox, you are the man. No, you're the man. But thank you for stopping by. Thank you for laying on the comments with Miller Lite in hand. Cheers, my friend. Cheers, indeed. Coming in at the number 9 spot is Sir Sega. He demands that you call him Sir. You really want to make sure you do that. Yo, Fox, bummer on the Nova delay. Absolutely. That sucks. It's not all positive tonight, but constructive, at least, hopefully. And coming in the coveted 10th spot is Anthony Jr. I think we're going to go with that. Coming in number 10. Thank you so much for being here. Millipede Silhouette, perhaps, maybe. Random one is also here. Didn't quite make 10, but close enough. Close enough for me. Thank you so much for being here, buddy. JJ is here also. A delayed game / cab product that is made right is better than rushing a broken, buggy, or crappy one for sure. Absolutely. Milkman Classics. James is mildly annoyed with some things. Jason, the greatest moderator in the business here. Michael, trying to predict the show. Not going to happen tonight, buddy. I'm unpredictable. Addicted to Arcade. You're among friends. It's okay. Everyone, say hi to Addicted to Arcade. Everybody. Yep. It's okay. David Dimon is here. Huge Success Guild. What's going on, buddy? JR Dark Empire. Andy's Game Room. Miss Martin Muses, thank you so much for being here. Always a pleasure to see you, my dear. MSU Rich, we got to say, yeah, Gramps Arcade. What's going on, Gramps? How the hell are you? Just stay salty. I know if you're a Gramps, you're probably salty. And the world needs some salty grandpas out there. Not dirty, but salty. Mike Hawkhurst is also here, coming in, stopping by just to say hi. What's going on, buddy? Tram Fanatic. Hope you are doing well, buddy. Hope you got the vehicles running like they should be. Chris in NXNW, North by Northwest. I believe that's what that is. I heard Wolverine is in it. I think so. The movie? Possibly. Perhaps. His name is in the title. I sure as hell hope so. Big Fish is also here. Big Fish is 75 is also here. And coming in with the swing, the big swing, the beautiful super chat is the one, the only Kevin Clausen. I love you. You love me. 1UP is not at SDCC. Coming in with the poems. I love it. I absolutely love it. Thank you so much for your super chat, buddy. But unfortunately, you know we got to go, and it's not the most pleasant place. But you've been there before. It's called the Pit.
Finish him. Molina wins. Flawless victory. Fatality.
Mr. Clutch, yeah. I think a lot of us are going to echo that same sentiment as we talk to tonight. Thumper Squid is also here. We got Joe Hosowski. Deadpool. Fun is the word. Absolutely. Absolutely. Indeed. Ted Adam Green is also here. Sistoshi. Matrix. I really am sorry. I know I probably butchered that name. Not yet, but the parts are all at the shop being installed on the Grand Prix GTP as we speak. So hopefully early this week, I'll get my car back. I hope you get that car back too, buddy. I know it's been a long time coming, but all right. Okay, we're talking about this. We're talking about that. Steve Sale is also in here saying hi. How you doing? OMG, says Kevin. Deadpool was so fun to watch. Stop it with your praise of this movie. Okay, the praise can continue, but no details. Satoshi. Thank you. Once again, I apologize. Satoshi. Matrix is live in the chat. Live with us. Okay, speaking of live, let's go ahead and get live. Let's grab our drinks. We talked about the poll question. Lots to discuss. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. Let's just slide into that first topic. New Wave Toys making waves? Yeah, kind of. Catching up on some old pre-orders is really kind of what they're doing, filling people in on what's going on. They do an extended pre-order process. So as you are not aware of how New Wave Toys does their business, they throw out this idea. Sometimes it's crazy. Sometimes it's just crazy enough to work. And everybody's really excited about it. I was on board with the cigarette machines, the Art-O-Matics, if you prefer, a different kind of USB charging port, for all your arcades. They did, or your miniature 1/6 scale arcades. They did the coin changer, and I really kind of hate that I missed out on that. I'm trying to find one on eBay. I want the wood grain. The white and blue one is available. You can find it. And I might go that way because I did actually pre-order this bad boy in the wood grain. So maybe if I had two things wood grain, it really wouldn't look good. But anyway, so I was sad that I missed out on the coin change, the change machine. So I decided to go ahead and jump on this for sure. I needed that USB charger to plug all my stuff in. I've got 4 devices that need the USB cable to keep them charged up, and I think this works out just perfectly. We finally got an update this week as far as what's going on with that, because it has been a little while since we first got that initial chance to pre-order these bad boys. I got an email this week saying, good day all. Thank you for pre-ordering the USB cigarette machine and or Art-O-Matic machine. A quick update to let you know we finished compliance testing, so we'll be starting pre-assembly next week. Production is scheduled, and I got this email, I think Tuesday. Production is scheduled to be completed the week of September 6th, with container loaded and on the water the week of September 9th. We anticipate we'll start processing your pre-orders the week of September 30th. Remember, pre-orders go out before any review units, so if you pre-ordered yours, you're going to get yours first. We totally understand, and I love that they've added this. This is really pretty cool. This is this is them putting their best foot forward, acknowledging that it is kind of a lengthy process, and maybe if this is the first time you've ever pre-ordered something from New Wave Toys, it may catch you off guard, right? So they definitely put their best foot forward, and they say, listen, we totally understand if you're frustrated and tired of waiting. Please email us at and here's the email address, for a full refund of your original pre-order payment with no questions asked. Otherwise, we're almost finished. So thanks again for sticking with us. Thanks again for your ongoing support. Cheers, New Wave Toys. I'm very happy to get my hands on my little cigarette, little 1/6 scale cigarette machine. I'm excited about it. The other photos that we saw of the product having all the individual labels of the fake or the knockoff versions of all those cigarette brands is going to be something really cool. I can't wait to have that. It's gonna fit well over here because in my little, I'm gonna go ahead and show you. Reach over here real quick. I got a couple Army guys in the arcade. This guy's very cool, and his future is so bright that he has to wear shades. I'm not sure how he sees the arcade machine, but these little guys, I buy these on, I think, Amazon. They're like 30 or 40 bucks. So they're not expensive. And listen, I'm not going to buy some Hot Toys and put them in here. That's a lot of money. I want to spend my money on arcades. But these guys, they come with a little cardboard carton or pack of cigarettes. So I thought it made sense to have the cigarette machine in there too. So that's going to be cool, I think. To have that, don't fall over, stay at ease, soldier. To have that's going to be really cool, and it's something that growing up in the I don't really remember the 70s. I was born in 76. So I don't really totally remember the 70s, but I definitely remember the early 80s. Every gas station, every arcade, every whatever would have one of these machines in the back with the pull cord, the pull bar, and you put your money in, pull the thing, and then the actual pack would come out. Back then, I can't even remember how much cigarettes were. I'm sure they were like less than $1 a pack. It was no big deal. They were growing on trees. Hell, they used to put 2 cigarettes in your MREs when you're in the military. Not when I was in. Not when I was in. I think that was probably the 80s, maybe the 70s. Who knows? A long time ago. But yeah, it's got some nostalgia for me. I get why people necessarily don't like cigarettes in general, cigarettes being glorified anyway. I get it. I understand that debate happened before when they announced the product. I think that's why they have the Art-O-Matic version. If you want to go that way, if you still want something kind of cool, you want a USB hub to plug everything in that matches your arcade, and maybe you missed out on the change machine, this will be a different way to go about it. And that still looks cool too. It's got a very cool, like 80s, 70s vibe. But the wood grain cigarette machine was definitely the way to go. So I'm happy to see that. And it is important for other companies in this space to take note of this level of detail when it comes to keeping customers, especially pre-order customers like myself, informed of what is going on. Once you get your information, you get it together, you tighten it up, and you let everybody know exactly what's going on. So, production is going to be done September 6th. The boat's going to be in the freaking water on the 9th, and they anticipate beginning to process pre-orders on the 30th. So we know exactly what's going on. So if something happens between now and the 2nd, okay, well, they can let us know, hey, there was a production delay, something happened, and that date's going to be pushed, which we know is going to affect all the other dates. And if, they're attacked by pirates, well, then we understand that the trip didn't go so well in the water. And I just got this image of like Johnny Depp, trying to get the cigarette. I thought he thought they were cigarettes, and they're not. They're just like cigarette machines. So somebody's got to explain to Johnny Depp that these are not. There's no rum on the container ship, and there's no actual cigarettes. So he's just going to get back on the Black Pearl and take off. I just thought of that because I've got problems and issues. But this level of communication, whether you like the news or not, the news is still available to you. You get it. You got it. You know exactly what's going on. It is what it is. And if there's any kind of delays, they'll be good and quick to let us know. And then also giving you a way out. If you pre-ordered and you don't like the way that after you've heard this information, if you're not happy with it, if you're not comfortable with it, you can go ahead and send them an email and bail out. It's no problem. And they give you your money back. A lot of companies can do that, especially some other companies we're going to talk about a little bit later. Yeah, Steve Sale talking about especially the bowling alleys had these cigarette machines and coin changers. Yes, the bowling alleys. I think I probably went to more. I probably went to more bowling alleys that had arcades in them. If I'm thinking back, of course, the mall had an arcade, but the bowling alleys always had a cool arcade in the back. Pool tables, obviously. When you're that young, you're not going to bars. We had a swimming hole. It was actually a lake. It's called Lake Tejas in the middle of nowhere, Texas, and they had a couple arcade machines. That's where I saw the Special Criminal Investigations Taito game, the game that I had and eventually sold. I saw it there, and it was a ton of fun. Pool table and all that, jukebox. I'm sure it had a I'm sure it had a cigarette machine too, because it was the 80s. Cigarettes were everywhere. Brooklyn Minute says, I remember those machines being in every restaurant when I was growing up. Yeah, and it wasn't a big deal. Smoking was not a big deal back then. There was not a lot of taboo associated with it. In fact, it was glorified in a lot of movies and stuff as a way to kind of look cool, be cool, whatever. Of course, temperaments definitely changed for sure. I smoked off and on for 10 years, quit cold turkey, December 23rd, 05 at 7 p.m. A date which will live in infamy, right? It was a Camel, wide, full flavor, but I still like to collect Joe Camel stuff. That was another thing that was kind of. I remember my aunt. I think more than one of my aunts actually had a. It was either a tobacco store or a liquor store, one of the two. And so I would get merch. And then, when you're a 12, 13, 14-year-old kid, getting a Bud Light poster or a Budweiser poster or whatever of some girls in bikinis was awesome. My mom didn't like it so much. She would always fuss at my aunts. Like, why are you giving him this stuff? But yeah, the Joe Camel stuff was cool. They were basically marketing to kids, which is wrong. But they're trying to get the future clientele. So, but yeah, they had some cool stuff. Marlboro obviously had the Marlboro Man, the cowboy. That was really cool. So it was very much, we talk about pop culture now, video games, comic books, superheroes, that kind of stuff. But this was also a big part of pop culture back then. Of course, the Winston was the biggest. I think it was the main sponsor of NASCAR. So that was definitely a big deal. Didn't have the taboo attached to it. It's gone, but I think probably for good reason. But damn, they sure came for them hard. But anyway, that was a diatribe off something else. But yeah, this is replicating something I think is pretty cool. F for autocorrect. Arcades were the best thing in the 80s. Absolutely. Smoke. Corey Trevor Smoke. Let's go. And scrolling down here to kind of get caught up. I apologize for running. Yeah, Marlboro Miles. Yeah, how many miles? How much did you have to smoke to get a jacket? Probably gave you lung cancer. That's not good. Never smoked. Marina says, never smoked, but I loved Camel Joe merch growing up. My dad got all the catalogs. It was, like I said, it was a big brand. Cigarettes in general were a big brand back in the day. Hey, my brother, my friend, Fatal J, what is going on, man? What up, Fox? Keep killing it. Hey, doing what I can. I'm not killing it, just abusing it. I want to kill it. To file charges if you do that. Shranfinex says, I also still have an unopened pack of Marlboro Lights, a box with Joe Camel on a Harley. It is a hard pack series. Well, that's a collector's item thing, right? I mean, you're not going to smoke it. Please don't. That would probably be absolutely disgusting. Andy's Gamer says, smoked for about 20 years, quit cold turkey. I was in the military, so obviously I did smoke a little bit of time here and there. But never brought that home. That was something I always did when I was deployed or whatever. So yeah, I remember when I was young, I had some experience with it. I got the appeal back then, but yeah, the health concerns are what they are. But this is not about that. This is about a simulated cigarette machine. Like I said, kind of going off a diatribe. But yeah, it's something really cool, and I'm glad that we're seeing this level of communication. And for the most part, New Wave Toys has had this level of communication the whole time. I mean, they've made slight modifications. The addition of the, hey, you can cancel that part of the email started coming out probably 3 or 4 pre-orders ago, maybe more. So that was a cool change to see. They're being open, they're being honest, they're giving everybody the opportunity to bail out if they don't want to. So there's that update. There's also another update. San Diego Comic-Con. Before I bring this slide up, I told myself I was going to check just to make sure that they haven't revealed something yet. New Wave Toys teased something. And I got to make sure that if I got the ability to break some news, I will. But I don't think. Yeah, unfortunately, no. Nothing as of yet on their Facebook page, so we'll see how that transpires. So here's what they dropped on us 3 days ago. So have you seen the Replicade Wave 2 Next Cab? San Diego Comic-Con 2024 teaser. Now, what could this possibly be? A lot of people are saying, like, is it a claw game? Is it this? Is it that? I think it's pretty clearly Crystal Castles by Atari. Not something I played. I think I'm vaguely aware of it because of the way that it looks, which it looks absolutely phenomenal. Looks great. It looks almost as good as this $2 super chat from Kevin Clausen. Thank you so much for another $2 super chat, buddy. Why talk smokes when we could be talking super chats? Absolutely. Thank you so much for another super chat, buddy. Here you go. Four Horsemen, thank you so much for stopping by and saying hi. And hopefully you got home, you're resting, you're relaxing, kick back, open up a cold whatever, and enjoy the show, man. Thank you so much for being here, for sure. James, mildly annoyed with some things, says, without a doubt, it's Claw Machine. Absolutely. Couldn't be anything else. But I think it's pretty clear that this is Crystal Castles. And like I said, it's not, I don't even know that I'm just aware of it. I've never played it. But I think this looks really, really cool, especially when I consider my other arcade machines off to my left here and what they look like. This is going to stand out like crazy. That white on the side of the cabinet is going to reflect off, because I got the black lights going. That's going to shine and glow. That's going to be really, really cool. So I can't wait to check that one out. Like I said, I'm not even sure how the hell you play it. It's one of those games you know of, but you haven't played. So that's my prediction. I think it's Crystal Castle. Maybe it's something else. Maybe it's a claw machine. Maybe it's Terminator 2. I have no idea. But I think it's probably going to be Crystal Castle. So I'm excited to see them actually reveal this. It's Sunday. I just checked their Facebook page, so I don't know when they're going to reveal it, but that's my guess. Let me know what you think about that in the chat right now or the comment section if you're watching this on the replay, because that'd be a cool, I think that's a return to their roots. I think that is why I dig the form factor is one thing. The size is good, but the fact that they're going to do oddball, weird stuff. Arcade1up's not going to build it. You'd probably be hard pressed to find that cab in real life. And then the price that you'd have to pay for one in good condition is probably astronomical, but it needs to live on in some way. And this is a way you can do that. This is a way that particular cabinet can live on. And I think it's really cool. You can have something you can look at and say, yeah, that's cool. I wish I could have played that back in the day. Or I remember playing that back in the day and it's really awesome. So I like it. I like the funky, weird ones. I like the games that I've never even played before. I like the look of it. And this is something if that's what it is, as long as we're talking about the 150, 160 price range, I'll probably get this one. I'll probably pick this one up because it's just different enough to where it's really going to stand out in the arcade. Now, I got to make sure, kind of like my real arcade behind me, I've got to make sure I've got enough room on the Mega Desk because I might be running out of room. I might start putting some of these cabinets right next to each other. Right now, I've got a decent gap between them. I have to get some more arcade carpets too, but this I'm digging. If this is what they go for, this is what they do, I'm liking this. And I'm also kind of curious what new features they're going to incorporate. I mean, are we going to have like a Survivor series of this? Because I'm not super familiar with the game, I wouldn't mind getting a Survivor series of this one. Just to kind of have one that's kind of beat up and a little rugged. I like that flickering marquee effect that they had on the Berserk. I didn't get that. I just didn't. To me, I wasn't familiar enough with the game, and it didn't look different enough from the games that I already have. So I was like, maybe I'll skip that one. But this one, I'm definitely looking forward to. What do you think about this, guys? GRS trackball, stick to, no doubt. Such a fun game. See, I got to play this now. I got to dig in and find a way to play this. I've gone away from Arcade1ups and now collecting the New Wave toys. Aren't they cool, though? Aren't they really neat? And they've got some real, you talk about some variety. I don't know how many. I know it was controversial. I know a lot of people didn't necessarily like it, the idea of it all. But that pinball machine, I'm excited about it. I know it's not playable. I know all it is just the the pull back action of just the ball, going up. But I mean, a black hole is from what I'm being told is iconic. I'm not a big pinball person, but this is a pinball machine I could absolutely afford. So I'm anxious to get that over here in the arcade, in the miniature arcade. So you get that, you get all the USB chargers, you get the Coke machine. I mean, it's just enough. I think Numbskull is awesome. What they do is really, really nice, and they've locked down some just like epic licenses. But I do think that size is a little bit too big. It's a little bit too big. The 1/6 scale to me kind of fits perfect, and you can also find action figures that same size. They're not dolls; they're action figures. Man, that Neo Geo cab is looking awesome in the back. Can you see that? Can you see that guy way back there? Yeah, yeah. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. I got some exclusive images to show you before the video comes out next week for sure. Wow, Crystal Catcher. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what that is. And it, like I said, does look absolutely great. Molar Medic, I pre-ordered the New Wave Toys pin. It will look good in my shelfcade. I think it's going to stand out. It's definitely going to be something different, right? And if you were smarter than me and you actually got Zoltar, talk about variety. I mean, you get some wild stuff, and that could really going to be a hell of a lineup. So I wish they came out with more of those little blacklight posters, the little, I don't know what size it is, 3-inch by 5-inch or something. Because I've got those on the little, the wall right by the arcades. I wish they had more of those, because those are really neat too. They're the perfect size. And with the black walls that I have painted in the office here, the arcade, it really, really sets it off, and it looks good because they got the black lights going and they glow. And when these studio lights are off and it's just the arcade, this stuff pops. I absolutely love it. Non-working. Come on, Decadent Dave. Okay, you got a point. I know. You have Zoltar too. Man, you're smarter than me. Smarter than me indeed. Something else they talked about, San Diego Comic-Con. And this is kind of a little bit, it almost flew under the radar the first time this happened. And then, just if you blink at you and you miss it type thing. First off, before we even get into it, this little 1/6 scale bike, do you remember these in the 80s/90s? Do you remember that? I remember having these. So when I was a kid, probably this is early 90s. I think I think I was in Arizona. So this must have been 90, 89, 90. And they had maybe even earlier than that. Anyway, a big thing for me was the little skateboards. You would use your fingers, right? And you have the little skateboards. And that was really cool. You could do tricks and mess around. You get the different boards from the different brands and all that. It was pretty cool. And when I was living in Tucson, I was closer to California, the skater scene and all that. And it was my first real exposure to that. But I also remember these little BMX bikes, these little mongoose bikes, these little recreations of these little bikes, these little metal frames and rubber tires, and they were really cool too. And you would try to do the little BMX tricks, because remember in the early 90s, late 80s, there were skateboard movies, there were bicycle. You remember Rad was a thing, and you had all these different movies where this stuff was definitely popular. So even if it wasn't popular in your area, there was a lot of that going on. Yeah, Rad was rad. It's definitely a fun movie for sure. So that was cool. So this is something else. They've kind of brought this back. So they just posted, the one on the left is the new post. The one on the right is the old post. The one on the left says old school BMX radness is coming soon with a special surprise from New Wave Toys and Mongoose. Okay, so be sure to subscribe to our email list for future announcements. And I pulled this up. I scrolled back down 1 year ago. They talked about this for the first time at San Diego Comic-Con 2023, talking about the radness and how these, a new line of iconic BMX bikes were going to be coming out, replicas, replicades. So you're going to have all this cool stuff in your arcade. And this is just another example of that. I thought that they had forgotten about this. I thought that this was kind of done. And it looks like it's not. It looks like it's actually going to happen. So yet again, another cool thing from New Wave Toys. And I'm absolutely digging it. So New Wave Toys is doing a lot. What do you think about the Golden Tee from New Wave Toys? I think that was kind of a misstep. I don't know what you think about that. Let me know in the chat. I think that was probably to have just the cabinet is one thing. To go in is as hard as they did with that GRS panel and everything, and the money that costs, is like, I thought that was probably the wrong game to do that with. Now they're limited by, just like everybody else, they're limited by the licenses that they have. I thought that Tron would have probably been the best way to go. Like if they could have had a Tron control panel with the Tron flight stick, and then a little replica Tron. Oh man, I think that would have sold like crazy. I think it would have sold like crazy for sure. Didn't know Mongoose, the company, still existed. Maybe that's why it's easy to get the license. I don't know. Do they still exist? I don't know. I'm sure the brand exists in some form or fashion. Who owns Mongoose? Do they still make bikes? I don't know. But yeah, giving some classic Mongoose some love. I'd have to a GT Pro Proformer. I pre-ordered GT Golden Tee as well. But I love, well, I'm not passing judgment here. I thought that the most expensive version was too much. If they would have just had a standard, just a regular, the one they eventually announced they would have without the digital marquee, just the 169, what is it, 170, 160, whatever it was, that version was more in line with what they brought before. So that made a lot of sense to me. That was fine. Made sense. To go whole hog like that, to lose your mind with something, a big $300-400 package, should have probably been a different game, I think, in my humble opinion. I was also in Arizona in '89. Casa Grande, and I had my BMX with the pegs on it for all the tricks I attempted to do. Yeah, I had a bike. It wasn't, I don't think it was a BMX. I don't know exactly what it was, but we had a skateboard. I was okay, but I wasn't doing tricks and all that stuff. I was obviously better on the bike. I mean, I had a bike in Texas. We moved to Tucson. That was where I was comfortable. And they had a lot of like, we lived in a subdivision, and then maybe, I don't know, 10 houses down is where the subdivision ended. And there was a bunch of dirt out there and little hills and stuff and whoops and all that. So I cut some trails, me and some of my friends, and it was just, you can't do that in a skateboard. So we were kind of off-road in our bikes. So that was fun. I like that a lot for sure. They still exist. Sure. In our dreams. I don't know. In our hearts. Do kids even ride bikes anymore? Some do. Yeah, I see them in my little cul-de-sac back here, riding their bikes, scooters. But there's so many different options now. They've got battery powered scooters where they just hit the throttle and go. Battery powered bikes, battery powered. The battery technology is so much that you don't have to have some gas engine like a go-kart or something where you're worried about your little one getting on that. These battery powered jobs, the kids just plug them in and go. And it's weird. Y'all see them going uphill, like that thing's got some juice. But yeah, some bikes, sure. But a lot of this stuff is powered. It's got motors. I was a Huffy Poor. Listen, right there with you, man. I can't remember. I don't even remember what the hell the name of my bike was, but I had one, and it was a BMX in my heart. It's probably a Huffy. I kiss my Mongoose Californian, PK Ripper, and Red Line bikes. Nice. I think you mean you miss. Yeah, you miss. Listen. I'm not going to judge your relationship with your bicycle. If you want to kiss it, man, it's as long as the bike is consenting to the kiss, it's fine. Okay, we're all friends here. We're all fanatical about our hobbies. But I'm not kissing my arcade. I'm just telling you right. I'm saying right now. Bogan Fleet says, Bogan Fleet says, I have a PK Ripper, Hutch Pro Racer, and a JMC in my basement. Nice. Damn, we have some bike aficionados. So we're gonna see some love for this new wave toys thing, right? We're gonna see a lot of people picking this up. Huh? Nice, not too shabby. Anyone know if the Nova Blast will have direct VGA input? I'm planning on using the Nova Blast with a Dreamcast VGA box. It does have VGA, HDMI, and the CGA. I'm anxious to get my hands on the new one, and speaking of that, let's go ahead and slide into that topic. Talking about Unico, talking about Nova Blast and whatnot. Wait a minute. Fox, which country are you rooting for at the Olympics? Lithuania. It's time for them to come up big. Right? They've just been, they haven't been getting the medals like they should. What do you think I'm rooting for? America. Of course. But let's talk about something that's not America. It's not in America right now. It's in another country, another place. Unico. Finally, and listen, this is a company that I communicate with from time to time. I am excited about their candy cab recreation. I think it's a form factor that hasn't gotten enough love. I felt like they went from candy cabs directly to the Vulix, which is an awesome machine too, 16x9, but we never got a real candy cab in America. I mean, you had to import them. It was tough to get your hands on them, but the Vulixes, the Chulixes, all that, they were definitely available. But it was it's a different kind of it's a different kind of experience when you're playing on a 16x9 aspect ratio, wide screen. I miss that 4x3. So you're going to be able to get that with this Nova Blast. It has been some time since they first announced the pre-order, and till this month, the month that they told us it was going to be shipping this month. And that unfortunately did not happen. So what happened is there were some conversations going on behind the scenes for probably a week and a half. I've been going back and forth with Unico, telling them something they already knew. They knew they had to identify, really give a hard ship date, release date, all that. The people that ordered these, everybody that pre-ordered this cabinet needed to get as much information as New Wave Toys is willing to share, right? They should also be giving this, Unico should be giving the same amount of detail to the pre-orders. General customers, but the people that pre-ordered them specifically really needed more information. And I felt like we weren't giving them that. We weren't seeing that. I'm just one of the conduits for that information. And I feel like I saw you asking questions, whether it was a community post, whether it was a live stream, you were asking the question, and I thought it was a valid question and needed to be answered. Well, this month is almost gone, and you didn't get any emails saying, hey, it's on the way. And as of my last video, I didn't know, I actually last week talking about, I actually said something about Unico saying, hey, they're supposed to come up with some kind of message, information, something very soon. I was told last Sunday, that they would have something Monday. But I didn't want to say that live. I just said, well, it's very soon, right? It's coming. It's definitely coming. And then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, days go by, nothing happens. And finally, Neosera just blurted something out on Twitter. And I'm like, that is not good enough to just get, and it wasn't even official, and it was just sort of random. It was like, hey, it's going to be delayed August-ish. And I just didn't think that was the right way to go. That you shouldn't treat your customers that way. So they finally did come out with something. I came out with my little video. I had some pictures. I had some information. Once Neosera threw that out on Twitter, I just ran with whatever information I had. And then they came back and they filled in the blanks later that day. I think it was actually, or the next day. But this was on their Facebook page. And it says, we discovered, and this is addressing one of the reasons why they had an issue, a problem with meeting their production schedule. And I've taken parts of their statement. I didn't take the whole statement. I took parts of the statement. If you want to read the complete statement, go over to their Facebook page and you can see the whole statement. But here's what I think is the important stuff. We discovered a flaw in the final converter board for the ULM26. That's their 26-inch monitor, the Pro version, which has been fixed. Production is resuming steadily. This fix benefits the entire monitor series. So it's not just the Nova Blast, but it's the actual monitors that you buy. Details on obtaining the fixed converter board. Now, this is for existing customers like me who bought a 26-inch, and I'm having issues. Now, some of my cabinets did not have this issue. When I did the Arctic Thunder, I plugged it into the VGA connection, no problem. The sizing, scaling, all that was fine, no issue. And I eventually sold that cabinet. Everything's fine. But the first 26-inch that I ever bought was for my Cruisin' USA. That old Midway cab had a problem with sizing. It cut off the bottom of the image. No matter what I did, I couldn't get that right. This new monitor with this new board promises to fix that. So for all those existing customers, details on obtaining the fixed converter board will be shared on social media and via emails on the 29th of this, so Monday, right? Monday, the 29th of July this year. You're going to be able to get this information, and then let them know, hey, listen, I purchased this cabinet, I purchased this monitor, and I want a new board. And you deserve it. You absolutely need it. Now, I'm not going to get the one for the cabinet that I sold, obviously, because I didn't have an issue with that. As far as I can tell, I have one on the Outrun 2, my Outrun 2 cabinet, and it's not working now. But when it was working, the image seemed to fit just fine. So I don't know that needs one, but I'll probably go ahead and get one anyway, because I like some of the options that it's going to have, some of the The potentiometers for color adjustment and all that are actually on the board. That's not the case with the first generation. So I'm going to reach out once they make this link available and try to grab two. One, the most important one is the Midway Cruisin' cabinet. I have my Cruisin' World cabinet. I have got to get that fixed, and then I'll let you know, hey, did this actually fix my problem? And if it did, that's going to open up the compatibility of the 26-inch monitor to a lot of different cabinets. So that's the first test I'm going to do. And when that's good, and I get the right game board in my Outrun 2, then I'm going to also do the same thing. I'm going to upgrade that board and see if there's any changes. There is some brightness issues I've noticed with some of the gameplay of my Outrun 2. It washes out when you get a lot of white on the screen. So I'm curious if that's going to fix that. That's what I'm looking for on that. Let's go back to the statement. They also said that we will provide regular updates on our website, social media channels, and via email notifications to keep you informed about your order status, which is important. Something they kind of should have been doing all along, right, from the get-go. The Nova Blast Candy Cab features a sleek design, durable design, customized controls, and a high-definition 4x3. And Arcade PCBs, making it perfect for both home and commercial use. Okay, here's the meat. Production of the Nova Blast is in progress, and the first shipments will leave around August 15th. That's leave from China on the 15th of August. So 2 weeks from now, a little over 2 weeks from now, arriving by the end of August 2024. So hitting our shores at the end of August, we will prioritize pre-orders before stocking our warehouse for new customers. So the people that pre-ordered, I'm assuming that the end of August, you might be getting an email, probably looking at the first part of September. Realistically speaking, based on this information, September is when you should get your Nova Blast. We apologize for any delays in responding to your questions. We will strive to improve communication through regular email updates and social media posts. Social media posts from a legit source. Niels Cervera is an employee of Unico. He has one of the maybe probably even the first Nova Blast ever created. He's been doing a lot of R&D testing and providing a lot of feedback to Unico, which is great. I'm glad we have somebody in the community doing that. And he does work for them, so he is privy to some of this information. But to just rely on that account to just give us information is not good enough. All their social media needs to give this information. So whether it's, oh, you're not an employee. Oh, I'm sorry, I thought you were paid by them. I apologize. If that is not the case, I apologize. I thought that you were paid. I thought you were a paid employee. They need to give this information out on their official Facebook, their Instagram, their X, formerly known as Twitter. All the official channels need to have this information given out. Very, very professionally with hard data, facts, this date, changes, whatever, delays, whatever. Throw it out there on your official channels so that everybody is fully aware, so they don't have to rely on, a Twitter account or a goofy YouTuber to give them the information. I should be reacting to their news, not giving it to you, to be perfectly honest with you, because I don't work for the company either. So the important thing is they need to start right now issuing those updates on a regular basis. If there's anything new, even if there's nothing new, if they're just on schedule, they should absolutely be relaying that information. Follow the New Wave Toys model. They do a good job of letting people know what's going on. And it's the right thing to do. It's the right thing to do for sure. So yeah. James is mildly annoyed by something, says, you need to disclose to Rexer if you have an NDA. It's YouTube law. I do. Once, for the 5 millionth time, I have no NDAs with any company. I've never received any products of any value. I got the Coke machine for free from New Wave Toys because I was in Cleveland, and I told you about that in the review that I did. So disclosures are done. I conceptualized and helped develop the Nova Blast, so I'm very close to that project, but technically not an employee. So just want to make sure. No, we don't need that. Nia Severa. I'm sorry. I know I'm probably butchering your name. They're just messing with you. No, P-dubs. Now you stop. The narrative is still the same. Unico good. This is Unico bad. I know. I just saw Deadpool today. I am in the stop. Don't. Oh, damn it. I know that movie was freaking awesome. I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to enter the multiverse with you. And you never know which Fox you're going to get next week. Wait, you are saying if we go to Cleveland, we get free stuff? Yes. Okay, here's what happened. They were packing up. Okay, it's the last day of these shows. I'll give you a little hint behind the scenes. The last day of these shows, they show up, and I mean all these companies have stuff, right? And they bring it all. They want to sell it all at the conventions. If it's the last day and you see them packing up and they've got a lot of boxes, they don't want to pay to ship all these boxes back. They would rather give some away to fans, convention attendees. It's like a PR thing, and also they're saving money because they don't want to have that worry about the hassle of shipping all this stuff back. So if you go to a convention and you happen to be there on the last day and you see people boxing up stuff, maybe you should give it a shot. Neo Severa. Yeah, I think I still butchered it. My name is Chris. You don't dox yourself, bro. What are you doing? My name is Chris Vera, aka Severa. Okay. I dig Neo Geo. Had the name since AO. Wow. The original, the OG right here, talking about AOL. That's awesome. Okay, Unico bad. Arcade1up bad. Tiny Arcade good. This guy flips more than the pancakes I had for breakfast. Okay, Deadpool, relax, okay? With the puns, kicking it. With a couple, so with all that being said, some of the negative out of the way, I thought I'd share, again, I showed some of this in the video that I did, but in case you missed that video, some of the pictures of the actual, these are actually in production. So these are some of the production pictures you can see of all, these are all the cages of the actual bar tops, the shells they've been blasted, ready to be powder coated. This is all sitting outside of, I assume, the powder coating shop. More of the boxes. This is cool. You can actually see now. I guess any box could just say Sanwa, but this is the proof that hey, listen, we're using all Sanwa stuff. Sanwa controls are going in. So I like some of these pictures because I just like some of the behind the scenes stuff. I do some metalworking too, so just the metal fabrication. The fact that they've got machines punching this stuff out is pretty cool. Spot welding some of these little brackets and stuff is pretty cool. So this is some, I find this should be interesting, but yeah, all the parts are sitting there. Production is in full swing, and I'm excited to get these things to the States. I'm excited for everybody who pre-order one to get their hands on it and try it out and see if you like it and check it out, because it's something I have really believed in is accessibility to like form factors, The thing that sucks about real arcade collecting is that it's a crapshoot. You don't really, you got to go out there and you got to find it. And then it being the arcade cabinet, insert name of arcade cabinet here. You're not sure what the quality is. You don't know what's been done to it in the past. The pictures tell half the story, When you open it up, you're not sure. And when you can get these things, you can transport them home. Like my MVS, my Neo Geo, it worked. And then when I got it home, it didn't work. Just transporting it caused enough, damage to move things around, and it messed up the monitor chassis. So I had to have the chassis repaired. Wasn't expensive, but these are just the things that you got to fuss and fight with just to get that real arcade experience. The Unico is going to provide a way for you to have the candy cab experience at damn near half the price of a real candy cab. And it's new. It's new boards, it's new wiring harness, it's a new a flat screen monitor. It's just a new enclosure completely. And it's a different way to play these games. A lot of people, and sometimes it's just as basic as I like to sit down and play games. A lot of people like to sit down and play arcade games. And this is why I think this took off and was so big in Japan, was the fact that you could just sit down and play whatever fighting game you want, whatever arcade game you wanted. They were JAMA wired cabinets back in the day. Any game could just plug right into it. So you saw these things running everything. It wasn't just fighting games. It was everything. It was all over the place. And that added tons of variety and also extended the life of these candy cabinets, because the JAMA harness existed for a very long time until you got into the some of the really advanced games where the wiring standards just kind of went by the wayside, because we're talking about basically PCs and multi-tiered setups that had multiple different connectors it was wild. So I like the fact that they are bringing this form factor back in a way that is accessible to people. I hope it's successful. I hope that it's reliable and it works. Everything I've seen is encouraging. The communication has not been encouraging, but I'm glad that they're making some strides and getting some of that fixed. I hope they continue on that path. And as this begins to be successful, hopefully they'll continue to bring out other stuff that is also successful, and they can reinvest in, like a legit social media professional. They can actually do this stuff for a living, and that's their main focus. But these companies are pretty small, and usually you got a lot of people behind the scenes doing multiple jobs. So it's a lot to ask. But hopefully this will continue to improve. I'm excited to get it here. We've been talking about it for a long time. I can't wait to have it in your arcades. And you can tell us, you can do your reviews and tell us what you think about it, because I'm excited. And I'm excited to hear that for sure. Anyone ever seen Fox and Jason in the same place? I think Jason and Fox, the same person. Maybe Jason is the Fox in another universe. You ever think about that? I think they'll be cool. I fell in love with shmups when I built out a Mr. Driven arcade cab. I would throw a Mr. in there and play all kinds of them, and Neo Geo games, and even SNES, etc. Yeah, because you can rotate that screen, which is pretty easy. You got some screws and that's it. I've got a real arcade cabinet. I can see having a Unico sit next to it and in the vertical position, just doing shmups. That would not be a bad setup for sure. But yeah, I'm excited. I can't wait to get it. Like I said, it's got to get out there. You got to get a bunch of them out there. You got to find out what's the fail rate. What's wrong. This is how you really find out all the weak points in design, when you get a bunch of them out there and people really begin to bang on these things. And the biggest question is that at the end of the day, are you going to feel like it was worth your hard-earned money? Only time will tell. Moving on to San Diego Comic-Con. Now, this is not going to be all arcade related. In fact, this is going to be mostly not arcade related. We covered some of the San Diego Comic-Con announcements from New Wave Toys. We talked about that a little bit. We're going to talk about the San Diego Comic-Con Arcade1up representation. I guess we'll talk about that in a second. But for right now, we're going to talk about just two things that happened at San Diego Comic-Con that aren't necessarily arcade related, but I wanted to talk about them. So Arcade1up's coming later. Let's talk about this right now. And one thing I'm really excited about, if you're a kid of the 80s, son of a, I got to take a drink. Everybody lift your glasses and throw them back, because this is absolutely freaking phenomenal. Knight Rider Transformer. This is a t-shirt that they came out with years ago. There was a Back to the Future Transformer t-shirt that they came out with years ago. And I thought that the image was cool, but I was like, man, that's never going to happen. Well, a few years ago, how many years? Maybe 5 years ago, I think, 4 years ago, they actually came out with the Back to the Future, the DeLorean, as a Transformer. I've got it kicking around. It's on one of my shelves. I think that's so freaking cool that they have these mashups like this. When you take these iconic, because in the 80s and early 90s, but in the 80s, 70s and 80s specifically, almost everything, every cool show had some kind of vehicle associated with it. Dukes of Hazzard, the A-Team, Knight Rider, it's just Starsky and Hutch. I mean, the list goes on. And then eventually Airwolf comes out. It was Nighthawk was like the Knight Rider version, but it was like a motorcycle. I mean, there was all these vehicular tie-ins to these movies. These TV shows. It became a character in the show. So you had that going on sort of the grown-up side. And then on the kid side, you had, Hardcastle McCormick was the other one I was thinking of. On the kid side, you had Transformers, which were vehicles that turned into robots. So wouldn't it be cool in the future, let's say in the year 2024, right? Street Hawk. See? Yes. So wouldn't it be cool in the future? Let's say the year 2024. What is that? 40 years? Because 1984 is when it came out, I believe. Or when it ended. It was 84 when it came out. When Knight Rider came out, when it premiered. Or 82. Anyway, whatever. So I'm excited. So like 40 years later, right? we have, yes, Magnum PI had the Ferrari. Yes, see, I'm rattling off stuff, and I'm not. Automan was cool, like a Tron guy, and he had his little Lamborghini with the neon stuff. Airwolf was sick. Absolutely. See, Airwolf fans, Knight Rider in the sky. But yeah, so here we are. I hit my microphone, I'm so excited. So 40 years later, we start seeing less than that. We start seeing things like the Transformers, doing crossovers and all that. And like I said, when the DeLorean came out, I thought that was so cool. And then I saw this was announced. I am so happy. Yeah, this is the 40th anniversary. 1984 is when it debuted. I was so happy when I saw this, and I know it makes no sense to be this ecstatic about something. Yes, see, I can't. Well, how in the hell did I forget Miami Vice with their white Testarossa? Damn, that would be cool. I wish they would do it, but if they did it, they couldn't have the flag on top. It's a whole nother discussion. Was that a Lamborghini Countach? I don't know. It might have been. But I was so excited when I saw this. This actually, and I think I saw an image. I'm like, there's no way. I got to check this out. And I found it, and I went to the website, and I was so happy. This is real. This is not fake or Photoshop. It would be horrible if someone had Photoshopped this. There is a little video that that someone at the booth shot. I want to go ahead and share that video with you real quick. Check it out right now.
That is such a super solid question. They do.
Look,
we're learning together. What kind of person do you take me for? Like, I'm going to have this in my pocket to show off without any batteries in it.
Does it make the sound?
It does. It's just really loud in here.
Nice.
It does make sounds. It's just really loud in here.
Do the doors open without
That is such a super solid question. They do. Look, we're learning together.
Okay, I'm sorry. Listen, some things you're just always going to get me. Okay, if you have Star Wars, the original trilogy movies, something comes out about that, I'm going to be excited about it. Pretty much. I mean, I'll buy it. It is what it is, right? It is what it is, Original PlayStation stuff I dig for sure. Capcom, I'm a sucker for, big fan of. Sega, I'm a big fan of. And Knight Rider, I'm a stupid fan of. There's something to me, even now, when you look back at all the cars, all the vehicles, and how cool they were back in the day. To me, the one that I would still pick would be Kit. It would be Knight Rider. It would be that black Trans Am. It just looks so sick. Like right now, just solid black with the red going back and forth. It's. I mean, I think in the original pilot, Michael Knight, when he sits inside the car, David Hasselhoff, when he sits in for the first time, he looks at the dash and he says, "This looks like Darth Vader's bathroom." Take my money is what I'm saying when I saw this. I had to get the Back to the Future version. I absolutely, unequivocally have got to have this. This is awesome. It's so cool. Now, the name of the Transformer, because the name of the Back to the Future Transformer was Gigawatt or Gigawatt, depending on how you. I think it's pronounced. In the movie, they said Gigawatt, right? But they spell it Gigawatt. That's the name of the Transformer. In this, the name of the Transformer is Agent Knight. I don't know if I like that. Gigawatt sounds more robotic. I don't know what they could have gone with. Agent Knight. I mean, you could have maybe done something else, something a little robotic. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know what else they could have gone with, but maybe something a little bit more. Agent Knight could have been sounds more like a comic book character than anything else. But it's still very cool. It's not, I mean, it represents, obviously you have the throwback to the Knight Industries 2000, and I love it. Absolutely love it. Almost as much as I love this super chat for $2. Thank you so much for your $2 super chat. Bush and Ryu Cat says, "Rip 360. Fox, please talk about buying your first Xbox 360. Thank you for your super chat. Here you go. Okay, all right. I respect the Xbox. I remember the rumors. I remember reading in Game Informer the rumors of the Xbox and what it was going to look like and all that. And I remember the hype. I remember that black box. I remember that green orb in the middle. But I've never been an Xbox person. I was entrenched. I was Sega up until I had the Dreamcast because I couldn't afford the PS2, and the PS2 came out a little later, right? So I was Dreamcast, and then when I could finally afford it, I jumped in and got the PS2. But I was PS1 before that, so I was on the PlayStation side of the equation. I'm sorry. Don't judge me too harshly. But no Xbox hating here for sure. But yeah, so this is it. I'm very excited about it. It looks very cool. You see the robot form on the right-hand side with the blue. That's like the blue jeans of Michael Knight. I don't know. It's really cool. If you can see, it's probably tough to see. There's like red visors, which is absolutely perfect. The robot face has a red visor. Take my money. And you saw the car version. It does have the light going back and forth, which is on his chest. So that's going to be sick. That's going to be cool. Makes the sound, makes the noise. Am I going to take it out of the box? Yes, but I will have a second one that will not be taken out of the box. It's just the way that it is. It's the way that okay, fine. All right, great. You're accepting of all. Great. I'm a bigot now. I'm the Xbox bigot. I see. Fine. It's okay. It's all right. So let's get into some, besides the geeking out in the video we saw, let's talk about some real information about this. So here is when you can expect it. So it's going to be available in the fall of 2024. The retail price is going to be $50. And let's just read the rundown because I'm geeky like that. The worlds of Transformers robots and Knight Rider collide with the Transformers X Knight Rider Autobot Agent Knight mashup pack. Inspired by the iconic kick car from the Knight Rider series, the 6.5-inch Autobot Agent Knight action figure converts from robot mode to Pontiac Trans Am alt mode in just 22 steps. Features series accurate decor and details from the classic TV show, as well as electronic sounds, phrases. It's going to freaking talk, guys, and a scanner effect light in both modes. So in both alt mode, vehicle mode, and robot mode. So excited about this stupid toy. I know, I can't help it. So it includes 2 blaster accessories that attach in both modes and a comm link that attaches in robot mode. Transformers robots have always been more than meets the eye, but now through the Transformers Collaborative, Transformers Collaborative, fans can experience these larger-than-life characters as they team up, mash up, and meet up with other characters who share this same special quality. Requires 3 batteries, LR44 batteries, button cell batteries, so little bitty batteries, available for pre-order. Okay, this is the thing. Tuesday, July 30th, they're going to be available for pre-order on Hasbro Pulse. I love what Hasbro Pulse is doing. We were so happy when Liv came to work for Arcade1up. We were hoping we were going to get cool stuff like this. I picked this up this week also from Hasbro Pulse. I pre-ordered it, I don't know how long ago. It was like $90. If you're a fan of the EU, this is the 3rd novel in the Thrawn trilogy. And when you open it up, it's a 4-character pack that will remain in this blister pack. Just is what it is. You got the 4, I don't know if it's main characters, but in this book, the 4 most crucial characters are all here. You got Luke, you got Mara Jade, you got how do you say his name? Yeah, Jaros Sabat, and you have Luke. If you don't know who Luke is, spelled Luuke, I'm not going to spoil it for you. Read the book or download the audiobook. The whole series is really good. If you've never gotten the EU, download those 3 books, and you'll absolutely you will thank me. But yeah, so you'll be able to pre-order this July 30th on Tuesday. I'm excited about it. I can't wait to check it out. It's gonna be awesome. It's $50, sure, but it's something that if you're a fan of the 80s, I love Transformers, I love Knight Rider. This is a perfect collaboration. It really is, and I'm excited about this. So I don't get freaked out about everything. They did announce a whole bunch of stuff, a lot of G.I. Joe stuff. G.I. Joe's cool, but for me, oh, hey, this is a good idea. Agent Flag. Flag, okay, well, would have worked too. Foundation for Law and Government. Yeah, Flag was the foundation they worked for. Maybe Flag sounds a little bit better than Knight. I don't know. It's Agent Knight. I don't know about the agent. I guess they're kind of going for because he's all black, like stealth, like something. I don't know, but Stealth Knight. I don't know. Something else would have been kind of cool. But yeah, I like you dropping your knowledge, Jason. Dropping the Flag reference. There you go. Very nice. But this is something I'm very excited about. Happy to see it coming. Just as happy as Super Chats when they come in. This one's for $5. This one is from Ezekiel Chicago Retro Ranger. Thank you so much for your $5 Super Chat, brother. Thank you so much for being here and always supporting the channel for years at this point. I appreciate it. What's up, brother? Hope you're having a great weekend. Cheers, brother. I don't know if you noticed. While it was not a big blue cabinet that I just finished up, it is a big red. Thank you so much for being here, buddy. Supporting the channel, $5. I appreciate it. Let me give you something a little bit special. I know what you like. I got to give you what you want. I give you what you need. Here you go.
Can't you do any better? This is the overlord!
Yes. Yes, I am not a fan of what Disney has done with Star Wars, with a couple exceptions. Remember, I said I was going to try to keep it positive. There's a couple exceptions, right? You know, a broken clock is right twice a day. I like Rogue One. The movie was good. I liked Mandalorian season 1 and 2 very much. I really liked Andor. I think if you watch me and Justin review Andor season 1, if you haven't checked that out on my channel and his channel, go back and forth, me and Console Kits. We had a lot of fun. If they do Andor season 2, I'm talking to Justin. I want to review it with them because I think that show has the best chance of having some goodness in it. And season 1 was great. So they have done some good things, but as far as the mainline storytelling, the mainline movies, they have just failed. Absolutely failed. But this is not a failure. Absolutely not a failure. What could be? Okay, I got to talk before I move on. There you go. They should make car. Yeah. Yes. You could have both. The thing I love about that is there's like no difference between the two, except one has a gray stripe on the bottom and a yellow scanner. Yeah, that would be really cool. I mean, they could make a variant. They could make what they should have made a 2-pack. Autobot and Decepticon. Oh my gosh, my brain just exploded. Oh, sorry. Give me a minute to recover. Okay, a Transfanatic. You got me, buddy. Yep, as a Decepticon. A 2-pack. You could have... listen, if this is successful, maybe they will have a car and they could do a 2-pack Autobot and Decepticon, or maybe just collect them both. And then you got Jason swinging in with Goliath. You have Optimus Prime as your template. Make a black version of Optimus. They made a white version that was Nemesis Prime, right? Black and white, but I think it was mostly gray or white. Ultra Magnus was white, but he had everything else he put on him. But you could go, if you do Goliath, you could have a flat black, basically because it was a cab over truck with a big grill on the front. So do Optimus Prime, paint them all black with a grill, and you could have Kit, Autobot, and you could have Car and Goliath as two Decepticons. And they basically, I don't even know, I mean, the names are good. Car sounds scary, you know? Agent Car, maybe they would call, I don't know. And then Goliath is just badass. Just stick with Goliath. Goliath. Just call it that. That would be absolutely sick. That would be awesome. And I don't know. Maybe if they sell like crazy, they could absolutely do it. I want them to do all the 80s cars. I want to see the General Lee. I want to see it with the controversial, flag on top. I know it is what it is. But I like to see the A-Team van. Let's get the Miami Vice Ferrari. Let's get the Magnum PI Ferrari. Let's get everybody. Let's bring them all in. Let's get how about the Jeep from MASH? What the hell? Let's get the Jeep from MASH and throw it in there. Why not? Let's just go crazy. Let's lose our minds. I think it'd be awesome. All right, listen. All right, I know we're geeking out here, but let's continue for just a second. The Thunderbirds. If you got the Thunderbirds, okay, also those Thunderbirds that had the rockets that knocked out Kit. Okay, but what about the show, The Thunderbirds? Was that British? I don't know. If you had the Thunderbirds, those could form together to make a bigger, like if they could do the Voltron thing, like Devastator, the Constructicons, form Devastator. You can have the Thunderbirds from another TV show form something else. Freaking, let's just go crazy. Or maybe you could have Car and Goliath form something bigger. Who the hell? I mean, I'm cool, and because you got Goliath, the truck, and the trailer, and then the car. I mean, I don't know. It's you can just go crazy, lose your mind, have fun. Smoking the Bandit Trans Am. How could I forget that? Yes, Airwolf. Smoking the Bandit Trans Am would be absolutely sick. The freaking flaming chicken on the front. Yes, the Phoenix shall rise again. That would be awesome. The Decepticons had a combiner. That also, okay, well, you're doing it. You got it. Perfect. We're on board. Let's go. Not to be confused with another arcade YouTuber that also says "Let's go." I don't want to steal their tagline, but let's combine. Let's transform. That would be incredible. I own a General Lee beach towel from '81. I would like to get it framed. You should absolutely do that. Because if it has the rebel flag on it, it's getting kind of rare. Mike says, well, since we are including everything, why not get Al Bundy's Dodge in there? That could be the Black Lion of the Voltron of badass. That's what that could be. That's exactly what that could be. And then what could happen is when the Dodge transforms, it will also score 3 touchdowns in one game. Or was it 3 or 4 touchdowns? I can't remember. Octane was the Decepticon triple changer. Yes. Awesome. Speaking of awesome, Fox said with a question mark, what did you think about this? Now, if you don't know what we're talking about or looking at, let me just go ahead and just play the video for you right now. And then we'll talk about it. This happened at San Diego Comic-Con. This is not fake. This is real. Here you go. And make sure the video is all the way at the beginning. Okay. Here you go.
There's one very, very important character that is required to do Secret Wars justice. Ladies and gentlemen, as proof of the unimaginable possibilities in the Marvel multi-universe, we give you the one person who could play Victor Von Doom.
New mask. Same task. What can I tell you? I like playing complicated characters.
We will see you in 2 years with Doomsday.
So that happened. Yeah. So Robert Downey Jr. is going to play Dr. Doom in the MCU. So what's going to happen is in 2 years, I think Secret Wars has been announced for a while. Avengers Secret Wars. But I think they've made some missteps in the movies they've made. So they knew they probably couldn't get there in a couple years. So what they've done is they've put in Avengers Doomsday as a way to introduce Dr. Doom that gets them to Avengers Secret Wars. So in 2 years, in 2026, we're going to see Avengers Doomsday. Robert Downey Jr. is going to play Dr. Doom. And then I guess 2 years after that, we'll have Avengers Secret Wars. Now, a couple things. The Russo brothers are back. The Russo brothers have made some of the best MCU movies, period. So I can't take that away from them. I think with the exception of a couple scenes in Avengers Endgame, it was a great movie. you had a wonderful 10 years of awesomeness in the MCU, with the exception of a few scenes in Endgame and Captain Marvel. You throw those two things out, those scenes in that movie, if you throw that out, you have a box set to just rule all box sets. Incredible, amazing, awesome. What is this going to be? So, a couple things. So, obviously, Robert Downey Jr. is amazing as Iron Man. I had my last child, my third son, in 2007. In 2008, the MCU kicked off. So, for the life of my children, for my youngest child, we've been watching these MCU movies, and up until you had Endgame, you had the last Spider-Man movie, you had Guardians of the Galaxy 3. After that, it has just, I didn't watch Eternals. I didn't like that. I watched Doctor Strange, the last the second Doctor Strange. That was pretty good. Made once again some mistakes in there. Mistakes were made. I didn't like some of it. It was enough, I think, to hurt the movie for sure. But we've been watching these movies since 2008. I was there in the theater, and I left before the end credit, and I watched the end credit on YouTube because somebody says there was an end credit scene. What? I watched that. I knew who Nick Fury was. I was like, and when he said Avengers, I'm like, wait a minute, what the hell? And my brother called me. We were freaking out because he's in Texas. He watched it. I'm up here. I watched it. Losing our minds. We've been with this the whole time. I love what they did. I'm not so sure what they're doing now. I don't know where the direction is. I made a video after Endgame. It's on my channel. You got to go way back. And I was adamant about the MCU right now should be over. So after Endgame, you should have had the last Spider-Man movie to wrap up Tom Holland's Spider-Man. You should have had Guardians of the Galaxy 3 to wrap up the Guardians of the Galaxy. And then there should have been the end credit scene at the end of Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Should have been a book closing. That's it. They should have closed the book. The MCU is done. Now you can have a new MCU. You start over because Disney, from the time it all started, Marvel started their own MCU. They took a big risk. They made some mistakes in the past. They had some success with Blade, but when they restarted, they were doing the whole deal. They were footing the bill, right? They started with Iron Man and a recently out of rehab, RDJ, and they started the whole MCU. And it went like gangbusters. Disney bought them. Disney bought Fox. Now all of a sudden, as Endgame is happening, you have Disney that now owns Marvel, the Fantastic Four, the X-Men. The only thing they don't own outright is Spider-Man, but they have a good working relationship with Sony, and they've used Spider-Man before. You could have closed the book on the MCU and then started brand new and basically have access to every MCU character. So the new world you build at the very beginning, the first movie, you can acknowledge all those other characters. And then you start with whoever you want and you do whatever you want. And this is just MCU 2.0. MCU 1.0 was great. It's awesome. But that's in the past. This is the new MCU. What they're doing now is trying to artificially extend the life of that universe by having the multiverse. And James Mangold, the guy that directed a ton of great movies, but he also directed Logan, the last true Wolverine movie, said that the multiverse is the death of good storytelling. And I tend to agree with that overall. You can have a lot of fun with the multiverse for sure. I think like a tongue-in-cheek movie like Deadpool is great for exploiting it, and that's great. And that you can have some fun there. But the multiverse cheapens the main story. All of a sudden now we're going to see Robert Downey Jr. come back. If we have these characters die, there's no sting because we know they'll just come back. Now, what I'm hoping with this character is that the mainline MCU, that Robert Downey Jr., Iron Man, is dead. He stays dead. And this is most likely a different Tony Stark from another universe. Kurt, this isn't a bad idea. They could have just gone with a different actor, was what they should have done. But they're banking on Robert Downey Jr. coming back, putting butts back in seats. And I just don't know that it's going to work. Now, there are some comic book storylines where Tony Stark becomes Doctor Doom. There's this one complicated storyline. Obviously, this all exists in another universe, which once again, it kind of cheapens, the main story. But in this universe, I watched a video about it today because I didn't know this. In this other universe, you've got, Doctor Doom is roommates with Tony Stark in college. They work together, and then Doctor Doom makes Victor Von Doom makes this machine and allows them to swap bodies. So their consciousness swap places. And basically by the end of that comic book, Victor Von Doom that is in Tony Stark's body gets destroyed, and Victor Von Doom's body, which has Tony Stark inside of it, like his spirit consciousness or whatever, is Doctor Doom. So you have a Doctor Doom that's wearing like a red cape, and he's got red and gold, like Iron Man colors. It's kind of a weird Elseworld thing, and it's fine. I like the mashup comics from back in the day, the amalgam comics where you had Batman and Wolverine coming together and making Dark Claw. I thought that was a really cool, neat kind of idea, but that's not the main story. That was, like I said, it was a neat one-off, but it's not the main story. It's like a what if. That's cool, but that's not the real story. I feel like this is not like Iron Man's coming back. This is Robert Downey Jr. playing. He's probably a different Tony Stark from a different universe who becomes Doctor Doom instead of Iron Man. Using his wealth for evil instead of good. And it's fine. Well, why didn't you just tell a straight up story with a different character, with a different actor portraying that character, and focus on the story and not celebrities to sell your movie? So officially, I will say right now, as far as this goes, I am cautiously optimistic because I know one thing. I don't know one thing, but I'm thinking that Robert Downey Jr. is not going to, at this stage in his life, with what he's done, Oppenheimer and all the money he's made, I don't think he's going to do something just to do it. It's got to be good. It's got to be intriguing to him. He's not going to half-ass it. So I'm hoping that there's something about this that just really has him excited and he wants to do it. But there's also the possibility this is just a cash grab. And, he's getting up there in age. He's pushing 60s, mid-50s at least. And he just wants one more hit series of movies before he retires. I don't know. So right now I'm cautiously optimistic. And I will leave it at that for now. Just not sure how it's all going to shake out. Hopefully it's good because I want the MCU to be good. But I really do think they should have just shut the book, closed the door, whatever, and started over. Because at this point, it just feels kind of convoluted. Like you're arbitrarily stretching this out. And it's just not necessary, in my personal opinion. But, it's just my 2 cents. Quite a bit of a mic stutter tonight, like a McDonald's. Is it that bad? Am I clipping? What's going on? Travis, a different universe than what we knew. We see a new Tony Stark too. Yeah, Tom Cruise is actually the one that's the Iron Man in that universe because that was the original casting. I am clipping? Am I clipping now? I got the microphone back a little bit. Am I still clipping? Kevin Feige produced Incredible Hulk, and it was the first MCU film. It was the second. Chronologically, it was the second. Now, they may have filmed it before, but it came out after Iron Man. Okay. Okay, good. Thank you. Maybe it's Jason's headphones. Yeah. Trust me, buddy. I'm telling you. Hulk came out second because at the end of the Hulk, you had a you sound fine. Okay, no, you're good. Okay. At the end of the Incredible Hulk, you had Iron Man show up in a post-credit scene. So, nope, I have speakers and someone has listened to the other The other live show audio with zero clipping. Okay. Well, I'm sorry. I backed it off. Maybe it was too close to my face. Apologize. So yeah, I think that I think it could, like I said, it could be good, could be bad. I don't really know at this point. I really think the best thing that they should have done is end it, but they're obviously not going to end it. They're going to pull out all the stops, and I'm afraid that you are like the multiverse does. It cheapens the main story, and if this is a continuation of the main story, and you have Doctor Doom coming from another universe, it's part of the multiverse, right? So if he comes into our universe from another universe, yeah, it's like, did he take over his universe and now he wants to take over ours? I don't know. It's just, it seems like it's a bit of a stretch. I think they could save a ton of money and just cast somebody else and have Doctor Doom exist in this universe and continue this universe storyline. Because if we have Doctor Doom, we're going to have Fantastic Four. And I want to see Fantastic Four done right. And I just don't know if this is going to get, I see it's like, it's getting all knotted up. It's like, it's hard to keep track of it all. That's the problem with the multiverse. Like, if you're trying to explain the story to somebody so far, the first 10 years were linear. It all made sense. The movies just connected for the most part. I mean, it all made sense. It was easy to follow. You could just track it. You could say this and this and this and this. Bam, bam, bam. And it was fine. It was fine. The last movie you watched was Black Panther, huh? It's Iron Man released in 2008. Dude, I watched Iron Man and then Incredible Hulk. Your Google is wrong. I watched Iron Man and then Hulk came out. Google is lying to you. So, yeah. Well, no, yeah, May, June. Yeah, 1 month. And yeah, I know they were close, but yeah, I watched Iron Man and then Incredible Hulk. By the way, I think that the Incredible Hulk, I lost his name. What is his name? The actor that played Incredible Hulk in the Incredible Hulk. He's a great actor. Somebody help me. Yeah. May. Yes. May comes before June. Yes. Thank you. Yes. No, not Eric Bana. The other guy. Edward Norton. Yes. I thought he was a superior Bruce Banner. He's a better actor. And I thought that the model they used for the Incredible Hulk in that movie is superior than what we got in other movies. I think the Hulk we saw in Avengers was good. And Avengers 2 wasn't bad. But at some point they started dumbing down the Hulk. I mean, I know he's not intelligent, but I liked the rage-filled scariness of the Hulk. We saw that in Incredible Hulk, and we saw that in the first Avengers movie. There wasn't a lot of jokey with the Hulk, right? When the Hulk interacted, when Cap told him to smash, when he said Hulk, he turned and it was like, oh, damn, it was a lot for Cap to keep his composure and tell him to smash, and then it becomes, we're goofing around. I didn't like that. I like the scary, edgy, because that's the downside of the Hulk. If you're just the Hulk and you're just, hey, you're like Professor Hulk. I never really liked Professor Hulk. I liked the edgy, the scariness of Hulk. That's the downside of having that strength as an ally. It's unpredictable. So yeah, Fight Club is incredible. He was in American History X, which is a racially charged movie, but it's a good movie. Like, I mean, he comes out of prison and it's just, he comes back into that life, and he's just a great actor. Well, unfortunately, I heard that too. It's a shame. Who I wish what we could see in the MCU again is Sam Rockwell as Hammer. I forget his first name. He was in Iron Man 2. I absolutely love Sam Rockwell. I love watching the guy. He's so cool. Of course, he's dancing in every movie, but he's just he's just one of those actors. The first time I saw him was in Galaxy Quest. I freaking love that movie. I thought he was great in it. Just so good. Such a great movie. But Edward Norton and that Hulk, and then you had Liv Tyler as Betty. That was just, and of course, that's where, General, I'm forgetting his name. Anyway, That's where he came from. Was that series of movies, that actor. So it's just a damn shame that they kind of changed that up. But I lost track of where I was. But anyway, I think that was a superior Hulk. And that's just the way I feel about that. I'm optimistic, very cautiously optimistic. This could be good because RDJ is a force to be reckoned with. He's a great actor. But I just think that overall, the MCU should have probably just ended after, I said Endgame, but probably after, you could have Endgame be the end, and then the prologue could be the third Spider-Man movie and the third Guardians of the Galaxy movie. That could have been the way that ended. But anyway, fingers crossed that this looks great. But even if this doesn't look great, this looks absolutely incredible. And I'm going to buy 2. Okay, moving on to something that I'm not going to buy. And unfortunately, it's this thing. Let's talk about it right now. I wanted everybody to vote on this. That is the poll question. Let's just go ahead and talk. Let's just slide into this discussion because I think that this is not an open and shut thing. I posted this video on a couple different Facebook groups. The original Facebook group tends to be a little more, they look at Arcade1up a little more objectively. Whereas the official Facebook group they're very much fans of Arcade1up. And I'm not trying to disparage anybody in the original or the official Arcade1up. I had some people in the official group block me, like they saw my video and they just said somebody else to block, and they just straight up blocked me. Don't know who I am, just blocked me. I had some people, have a real negative reaction, a strong negative reaction to what I said. And I think they're doing that because Arcade1up has been under attack, viciously under attack by some people that aren't just saying negative things. They're being aggressively negative and attacking anybody who likes Arcade1up. Now, anybody that has watched this show, watched my channel for any length of time, you know that I've been covering Arcade1up for 5 years. June of 2019, I did my first video. I was sitting in a hotel room talking about these 2 cool cabinets that were just announced. It was the Marvel Superheroes cabinet just announced. I'm like, oh, this is going to be crazy. 5 years I've been talking about Arcade1up. I've been collecting, buying and selling. I was the guy that had all 3 of the 4-player cabs and did a review on all 3. I thought it was pretty objective because I am a fan of what they've done. I still have several of their cabs now, but I'm disappointed when I see them do things that I just don't like. And I talk about it. But I had people in that official group they're pissed, they're mad. Who is this guy? And I get it. I understand because a lot of people come into Arcade1up straight up negative, hard. They really are just haters. Everybody who watches the show, I'm not a hater. I am objectively reviewing this stuff. I like it or dislike it, and I have reasons to support either one of my conclusions. So I get it. So everybody in the official fan group, I understand. I get it. But no, I'm not just hating it to hate it. I got my reasons. And the original fan group, y'all are cool. You get it. Now, while I'm talking about fan reaction, even if you look at the official group, if you look at the reactions, the thumbs up, thumbs down, the mad faces, all that, the emojis, there's only like 3 angry faces. Everybody else is thumbs up or they're laughing. It's fine. It's cool. And really, the reason why I did the thumbnail, it's terrible, is because Michael B said, his thumbnail said, it's not terrible. And I even sent that to him before I posted the video. I was, hey, Mike, I just want you to know, I'm not giving you a hard time. I just thought this was really funny. I just want to make sure you're cool with it. And he was like, oh, it's funny, Fox, do it. So it was all in good fun, joking around. And in one aspect, I do think it's terrible. In another way, I don't think it's terrible. And another thing that I also don't think is terrible is this super chat of $2. Kevin Clausen coming at me with another $2 super chat. Buddy, thank you so much for your super chat, supporting the channel. It really, really helps the channel. I really appreciate it. I do a weekly show where I talk negative about, hey, if you're going to say something like that, you should at least include the link.
Finish him. Scorpion wins. Fatality.
I would like the link to. I'd watch that show. I would absolutely watch that show for sure. Would you say this midway cap is the Marvels of 1-ups? Yeah. Okay. The Marvels may be a little too negative. I would call it the Eternals of 1-up. And I got my reasons. It's let's just talk about it. There is one basic thing that I think that separates Arcade1up from At Games and other companies that are doing this. They're in this space. And it is they're trying to be. It is that Arcade1ups were always little arcade recreations where Ad Games was more of a multicade. So the form and the shape of the cabinet didn't matter so much, right? It was focused on a multicade, bringing you a multicade experience, playing different games. So those control panels had to accommodate a bunch of different controls, but the shape overall didn't really matter. Arcade1up took the time to mimic the shapes of some of these traditional cabinets from back in the day. And then they would only include games that worked on those cabinets, right? And they also worked with those controls so that you could still have that experience. You could have a bunch of Street Fighter games on a Street Fighter cabinet and it all played the way that it should, and that made sense to me. It made a lot of sense to me. But what makes even more sense to me is a $10 super chat coming to me from Jason Little. Thank you so much for your $10 super chat, buddy. You didn't have to do that, but I do appreciate it. I'm starting a new weekly show where I talk negative about Kevin Clausen, talking negative about Fox. Then we'll all smooth things out and throw the football around. That's what you do. That's what you do. You just throw that football around. Thank you so much for your $10 super chat, buddy. I always appreciate it. And in loving tribute to Deadpool and Wolverine, here you go.
Hyper combo KO. Game's over. Time to call it quits.
That was a show within a show within a show. I love that. But so to me, that was the biggest thing that set Arcade1up apart, is that they were trying to recreate with a lot of caveats, a lot of compromises, but they were trying to, mimic that. Okay. What this does is this caters to a multi-cade audience. And we talked about that in this video that I did this week, where I was talking about, I called this terrible, and I stated why. Talked about it, and I laid out all my specific reasons why I didn't like it. I wasn't just bashing. I was saying, hey, this is my opinion, right? And my opinion is just as valid as your opinion. If you like it, great. This is a hobby that is very lighthearted. We're supposed to pick and have fun, and give each other a little bit of a hard time. It's like your favorite NFL team and my NFL team. We don't like each other. We give each other a hard time. We're still going to kick back and have a beer and give each other a hard time. This is something that I think this is more of a multi-cade than an arcade recreation. And the cabinet that this is trying to recreate was a multi-cade. So I understand what you're doing, and I understand the people that say, I like it and I don't care and I'm getting it. Hey, the form factor is great. I've got the original XL. I bought the first one that came, not the first one, but the first XL that was available, I bought. I did one of the first reviews of it on the channel, talked about that horrible screen. I've replaced my monitor twice. I love the form factor. The size is great. I dig the cabinet. I still have it. I enjoy it. It gets a lot of play anytime anybody comes over. But this is just a multicade, in my opinion. I think that's the biggest problem I have with it. This is a multicade, and by definition, multicades do multiple things, but they don't do them well because they're trying to accommodate multiple games. So I think that for the most part, your Golden Tee experience is going to be fine. For the most part, it'll be okay. But other experiences playing other games are not going to be as okay. It's not going to be, it's just not. I've got a couple things. What is this? Okay, so we saw this. What is this? There's that. Okay, we talked about that. I want to talk about something else too. The monitor, not the monitor. The monitor is an upgrade for sure. The monitor is a BOE, which is good. But it's also a 4:3, which is a different aspect ratio from the original Golden Tee. So the reason I say that is because for those of you that were thinking, well, maybe I could just get this and then get just a Golden Tee control panel and a Golden Tee PCB out of an XL or whatever, and I could just put that in here, which is possible. They're on eBay, right? I'll just put it in this cabinet with the better monitor, and away you go. I'm good to go. The problem with that is going to be that 5:4 image that the PCB is pushing out to a 4:3 monitor. It's not going to work. So you're stuck with. Now, if you don't want to play the midway games, you could just change the control panel and do your best to make it look like a Golden Tee, I guess, and just play the Golden Tee games. But I don't know. It's just weird. It just doesn't make any sense to me. So I think the biggest thing that you and I are going to have to get past is, are you a arcade representation type of person where you want like a little, fake arcade, like you want a little model of an arcade, or do you just want a multicade? I mean, if you're good with a multicade, and that's what this is, and that's the biggest thing we got to get past. Now, if we can agree to disagree on that, then I think everything's fine. But this is just absolutely not what Arcade1up has done in the past, and I don't think it's what Arcade1up should be doing. There you go. I just think that this is a step in another step in the wrong direction. They're just trying to figure out, how do we take the games we already have and put them on a slightly different cabinet and pretend like it's something new. And the artwork is just, it's not good. So the side art, they clearly just took the Golden Tee XL side art. They slapped the Midway logo right in the middle of it, which just looks out of place. And they just did the standard games list thing on the side. I mean, it's the things that they did wrong on the first and second generation, listing the games out, that I just don't like. And now, instead of it being on the front, it's on both sides. And then on the front, you got IT and Midway logos on the bottom. And then at the very top, you got the split marquee, which is not bad if we had two different companies, two different games that I liked, So I think the marquee is done well. It's just the games themselves I'm not a big fan of. And the logos on the bottom, I don't understand why. Subtlety is the best. So, okay, listen, you take the marquee, which is freaking lit. There's a light behind it, okay? You're clearly stating IT, Golden Tee, and Midway games, Midway classics. It's there. We get it, okay? And then you go on the side, so you're good, right? Well, you've communicated that. It's a freaking lit, that's why they call it a marquee. It's a lit sign. You don't then have to go on the bottom of the front and then again say, oh, hey, by the way, this is IT and Midway, two different, we got it. Okay, we got it. Okay, you've made your point. But then you go on the side of the freaking cabinet. And now you've got a Midway logo stuck on there and then a list of all the freaking, okay, we get it. We got it. We understand. I would have rather liked to have seen some kind of an artistic thing on the side, showcasing maybe some of the characters in some of the games like they did back in the day. At least that would have looked better. And I talked about this before, but if you look at that control panel, the second player, if you're using the joystick and the buttons, your hand is just floating in outer space. You have nowhere to rest your hand. It's a horrible experience for a second player. And people in the comments are saying, well, nobody's going to play it second player. Nobody can. Okay, but you made it second player. You made it a two-player cabinet. So your intention is to allow a second player to play because you put it in there. There's a second freaking stick for the second player. So you've said, hey, come on, second person, play this game. And they're going to have a horrible time. If you really wanted it to just be a one-player experience, take the trackball and move it over to the side on the second player's side. And then you have a single player joystick and buttons. Hey, now it's a one player game. Yeah, okay. Now, the golf side with the trackball, you can still have multiple people play. You take turns. But if you want to play the midway games, sorry, it's just a one player cabinet. And you would have more room, and that would be a compromise. I get it, but these are compromised machines. No problem. I think you could have made the argument then, but no, you made it a two player because once again, Multicades tried to accommodate a bunch of different games and play styles and then multiple players. And it's just too much to do on this cabinet. It's just too much in my opinion. So I like the marquee. I don't like the logos on the bottom of the front. I don't like the side artwork. I think it's just lazy. It looks like you just bought some stickers and stuck it on the side of a Golden Tee cabinet. And I don't like the Arcade Classics branding on the front underneath the control panel. Why is that there? Damn, we get it. I mean, if you wanted that to be, maybe that should have been your marquee and then leave the front black. Just black. Just leave it alone. It's too much. This is worse than the first and second generation cabinets because, damn, at least the side arts were, they kind of mimicked what we saw in the arcades. And then the games list was on the front because there was no coin door. They felt like they needed to put something there. But this is just the front, looking at this machine dead on, which is the way you're going to look at it because you're going to have something on the left or the right. It's the worst view of the cabinet. It's just too much. It sucks. And that's just my opinion. You know, I think the Golden Tee experience is probably going to be fine. But the second player version of that is going to absolutely suck. It's not good. It's not good at all. Let's talk about something else. Let's talk about let's talk about this. I don't have the cabinet. So I'm giving you a caveat. I do not own the cabinet. I haven't played the cabinet. But it would appear that this is your main menu. Dear God, what are you doing, guys? So I think you can the Golden Tee icons you can kind of make out. This reminds me of when Apple made a different OS for their iPods, and all the icons were circles instead of squares. And it's just like, it's like I can't. My problem with this is very simple. I can't clearly see the name of the game. Maybe it's better if you're looking at it. I totally understand. If you're looking at this, maybe it's easier to read when you're looking at it in person. But just from this image, I see an icon and the name of the game is very small. I don't know why they didn't just line these out and you just scrolled up like they've done in the past. A long list of games. Maybe you could have two categories, Golden Tee and then Midway. And then within those menus, you could have the breakdown of the games. This does not look good. The normies outside of our grumpy community will like this. It's made for them, not us. People I showed this to think it's cool. A lot of people in the Facebook groups think this is cool. Just because I don't think it's cool doesn't mean I'm not the arbiter. I don't deem things cool or not cool for the masses. It's cool or not cool for me. That's it. I am only one voice and one opinion. There's a bunch of people out there that like this and are going to buy it. But if we're talking about Arcade1up and the way they're going and the future, this is not for me. I don't like this. It looks like a lot of missteps. It looks like they're trying to do too much, trying to become a multicade when that was never their original design. You know, multiple games within a very specific form factor, yes. And play style and control panel layout, yes. But generically, just a bunch of different games all over the place, that's not what they were originally designed for. But say in spirit, you make a good point. I think it's valid. Yes. I also blame Cyrus. Yes. Yeah, no think up, so no good menu or cab design. The guys from Fiverr who did all the work only charged them $50. Yeah, they helped me with my some of my stuff back in the day. So, well, just a Bill, you're absolutely right. Heavy drinking during the playing, it may even help with the gameplay if you just go ahead and drink heavily for sure. Galaga guy is here. What's going on, buddy? What are you saying? It's $100 less than the original XL with a good monitor and saving another 150 in a monitor swap and add 20 extra games. Even if a third of those games play wonky, it sounds like a win to me. Well, as long as, listen, if it's a win to you, then that's all that matters when you are making your purchase. I mean, and I'm being serious. When you go to make your purchase, the only opinion that matters is you. It's your money. It's your decision. And I get the fact that it's a BOE monitor. I think it's a damn shame that the only pure Arcade1up experience with the BOE, a 19-inch BOE, is Pac-Man. When Golden Tee proper should have got the BOE treatment, the Shack Jam cabinet should have got the BOE upgrade, and then they should be making other XL cabinets. But sadly, that's not what we're getting. We're getting this. So now you're asking customers who wanted a better monitor built in to buy into all this other crap or all these other games that they didn't necessarily want. And I think that, $599, yeah, it's not $699, sure. But right now you can get the other cab for $599. And the monitor swap, it's not cheap. You got to buy it. You got to find a good one. And then even that's a crapshoot. I have bought 2 monitors for around $50. So I probably spent $100 at least, maybe a little bit more than $100 on my 2 monitor swaps. But at the end of the day, I'm happier with what I have versus what this is. But I will say, I'm going to tell you right now, the one thing I'm freaking hating is the fact that I don't have screw caps. I love the screw caps. I bought some on Console Kits recommended some on eBay. Let me go full screen. I don't know. I don't know if these are going to work. So, for an example, these are the ones for X-Men 97. You see the size there, and then you see these. It's not the same. So it's not going to work. I wish that Arcade1up would just sell just like just buy colors, just like a batch, black or white or whatever. But they don't. They don't, because they hate us. Well, no, they don't hate you. They just hate me. And that's fine. That's fine. Okay, so other exciting news, other things we got to talk about. So the last San Diego Comic-Con topic we got to cover is the fact that Arcade1up was back. They are back at San Diego Comic-Con. They made their return. They're back. They're better than ever. It's amazing. You thought they were dead? No. They were at San Diego Comic-Con, and they were back. So they didn't have a booth per se, but let me just show you.
I'm looking at all the action figures, but I also see, is this a game over here?
It is. So our partners at Arcade1up generously provided us with their X-Men 97 Marvel vs. Capcom machine. So I believe if you come down to the booth this week and you can beat Ryan, Dan, or Dwight at a round of Marvel vs. Capcom, they may have a special treat for you.
Oh, Ryan, Dan, or Dwight beat them. You know what? A special treat. I wonder what it could be. I don't know. But I do know one thing. I want to check out the Star Wars booth.
And that was it. That was their return to Comic-Con. They had one cabinet in the Hasbro booth. That was their return to San Diego Comic-Con. They didn't have their own booth. They didn't have the massive NBA jams that they used to have built, back in the day. Nothing. They had one cabinet in the Hasbro booth that they eventually gave away to somebody. Not quite the return that we expected from Arcade1up. Not quite the return or the presence that they've had in other San Diego Comic-Cons. They had one cabinet in somebody else's booth. And they posted on their social media that they were back, baby. We made our return. Now, listen, I think that the X-Men 97 cabinet is a good cabinet. I think that it's a win. I told you about this. It is a win. My X-Men 97 is great, but it's getting a change. It's getting an upgrade. I'm going to give you a little preview right now. I don't want to give away the main theme, okay? but there's going to be some artwork changes to my X-Men 97. I'm going to turn it into the cabinet that I think that they should have made with the games that they should have had on it. And this should give you a little bit of a clue what I'm doing. But the cabinet is not the problem. It's the perception of the company that is the problem. We have multi-cades coming out, which is fine if you like multi-cades. The form factor isn't the worst thing in the world, but it's just the wrong direction in my personal opinion. And then you claim that you're back at San Diego Comic-Con, but you just have one cabinet in somebody else's booth and it's not new. It's the perception of the company that is suffering, it's hurting, and listen, this is just disappointing. And at the end of the day, when you have this that disappoints you, not everybody's disappointed, but I am. If you have this disappointing you, and then their main return to the stage is just an arcade cabinet in a booth that has other cool stuff that the reporter just glosses over. It's like, okay, yeah, but let's go look at Star Wars. That tells you right there that the relevance of the company is absolutely fading. And I think it's moving in the wrong direction. They should have stuck to those. While the audience and the appeal may have been small, they should have stuck to their original plan, goal, whatever, of arcade recreations. That's what they should have stuck with. And stay within that niche product. And, you know, I mean, I know you got to satisfy a retailer, and that's fine. You can have retailer options out there. But doing the Hasbro Pulse option, okay, like this with the Knight Rider Transformer, taking that concept and doing more than just a KI Pro, doing something else, taking these weird chances, would have cemented the base, your core, your foundational customer, and then allowed you to rely on a certain amount of money coming in. Hey, listen, we got these guys, we got these girls, we got these enthusiasts. They're coming back to us time and time again. So we can count on this much money coming in. Now, to push us over the edge, let's do some retailer things. Let's do some Pac-Man. Let's do whatever. But still keep the core, because we don't want to oversell to the retailer, lose the core, and then the retailer is like, you know what, next year, we're not going to buy anything from you. And all of a sudden now, you got nothing. You've lost the core. You've lost the retailer because they got too much stock. And you're just left with this. It is what it is. Also, what it is this super chat coming in. $1.99, Big Vicious 75. Thank you so much for your $2 super chat, buddy. Really appreciate it. Didn't David McIntosh say 1UP would be back in 2025? Back better than ever with one cabinet in, you know, somebody else's booth. As far as I know, that arcade has, they were under contract for one more year and then they were done. That's also why the Miami store closed, which is sad. Sadly, I don't want people to lose their jobs, and I don't want companies to necessarily fail, but I do want them to suffer the consequences of their actions. So good actions would warrant good sales, right? So that's profit. That's good things. People are employed. We're getting the stuff we want. Everything's great, right? Those are good consequences. There's also bad consequences. You lose sight of your original objective. You start getting lost and crazy and coming up with wild stuff. And I think you should suffer those negative consequences, the goods, the bads. I'm sounding like John Wick over here, but yeah, consequences. I believe in a meritocracy. The best should win, regardless of how it looks or how it sounds. That's just the way that it should be. So you abandon what I think was your core audience. You did. That's what they did. They said, well, we're not going to focus on that. We're going to go after these mainstream people. But then they didn't realize that the fanatics are the ones that are buying these cabinets and building their own arcades. I mean, it's not an impulse buy. $500 is not an impulse, but oh, that looks great. I'm going to pick this up in the checkout line. That's not, people aren't doing that. Not en masse, not in large quantities. And I don't want to say they're done, but it's not looking good. When you lose focus of what made you popular in the beginning, it just, you know, it doesn't look good for you. It doesn't look good. Fox sounds like me on that sci-fi episode saying, not that there's anything wrong with that. I mean, if you want to be, you know, if you want to be a multi-cade, you know, not that there's anything wrong with that. It's fine. It's fine. Whatever. Crap won out is what they did. Some people like it, and I get it, but I think they came out with a multi-cade. That's not what their company is. That's not what their original goal was, in my opinion. And so I just don't know what you're doing. Shreddy B says, back to Oblivion. The game or the company? I don't know. Yeah, unfortunately. It was manufactured in April 24th. So just built. This cabinet here. Listen, I'm not trying to destroy the cabinet. I'm trying to beat it up. It just personally, it's not for me. I don't like it. And I think it's a misstep. One of many, unfortunately, you know, in my personal opinion. The scariest phase of Arcade1up is when everybody stops talking about. They had, okay, this little channel that I have here illustrates that point perfectly. I started in 2019 talking about them, and everybody just supported me, and we were talking about it, and it was fun and exciting, and the future was wide open. Man, what else could they do? There was just no limit. Like they were so, and we had people from the company talking to us who seemed to be excited about it. They were geeky like we were. They were into it. Like, wow, what else could they do next? You know, that optimism, I think, is what's taken the hit. You know, possibilities are still there, but the direction of the company, right? Like where it's going. I think that direction is not going up anymore. I think it's going down. I don't think we've gone beyond flatline and just going down. I do. Let me apologize. I didn't get the joke. Since the day I was born. I apologize. Yeah. And I'm just trying to be fair, buddy. Listen, if for anybody watching this that likes this cabinet, I'm not hating on you, giving you a hard time. We're going to like different stuff. I like Dragon Ball Z. My wife makes fun of me for the stupid, you like this stupid cartoon? Why? I get it. We're all into different stuff. And if you like this, man, God bless you. You know, if you're digging this, great. I'm glad somebody got what they wanted. You know, I want what I want. And that's fine. And that's just when I say something like it's terrible, that's just me talking. I think this thing is terrible. If you think it's good, that's great, man. I have no problem with that. To each their own. That's the great thing about this hobby. This is just supposed to be fun. You know, I'm not going to hate on you because you like it. If you like it, great. Everybody's tastes are different, you know? And I think that's just the way that it goes, you know? Let's go 3 hours. Okay. Well, I mean, we're a little past 2, but I'll be shutting down here pretty soon. Cyrus and that David McIntosh fella won't be there in 6 months. This isn't a career. It's a job. You and I both know the difference. Careers, jobs, there's a difference for sure. Yes, absolutely. I'm a big, stupid Not Rider nerd, and I don't care. I don't care. It's the way I am. At $600. Now, I wrote this down. Somebody asked me at the beginning, would I buy this for $299? If this was $299, would Fox buy this? I'm not going to buy it no matter what the price is, because I have a working XL Golden Tee. And I'm a big fan of Rampage and some of the arcade classics on here, the Midway games. but I would want a Rampage cabinet or a Midway Classics cabinet. I would not want this because I have something that looks, I mean, it's the same exact shape, height and all that. This doesn't appeal to me at any price. If my cabinet were to catch fire, and I couldn't find another one, I still don't think that I would go for this version. I think I would rather step down and have a deluxe that was dedicated to Golden Tee. If I rebought it at all, if I just burned down in some horrible, very specifically located fire that only burned up one cabinet, it's a weird fire. It's only attracted to Golden Tees. I don't think I'd buy it. I think I'm good. Like I said, I'm not hating on anybody who likes this. If you dig multi-cades and if you like the games that are on it, this is a way to play Rampage on a 19-inch monitor from Arcade1up out of the box. I get it, but you can only play 2-player Rampage. I wish they would have made a big 3-player Rampage. It would have been awesome. There was a part of me that was like, well, maybe I should take this and modify this and make this Rampage, like a 3-player Rampage, because it's a bigger cabinet. But it makes no sense, because why would you do that? I mean, you lose the ability to play the Golden Tee games, and it's just weird. To me, multi-cades aren't as fun to mod because, I mean, unless you just take out the PCB completely and put something else in there, I don't know. To me, I'm just not digging it. I just don't. I'm not going to buy this at any price. If I can go out and spend if the monitor goes out in my cabinet, I'll just spend another $100 and get another monitor. I would rather do that than buy this cabinet at $299 or even $199. I'm just not digging it. I'm not digging it at all. But that's just my opinion. That is just my opinion, and everybody, has theirs. To each his own, or her own. Okay, the lab's topic is my latest cabinet, my latest creation. I'm excited about this. I want to share some exclusive behind-the-scenes pictures of my Neo Geo SNK 4-slot cabinet that I just got finished. The video is in production now. It'll be out next week, but I wanted to share a few things with you because you've stayed with me for over 2 hours. Now let's talk about something super fun. I'm excited about this. Let's go to my multi-video system. And here is, so I posted a picture on my community tab that was, the lights were off and you saw it, in the dark. This is the same image, but it's lit. This is the cabinet, how it sits now. Very few things. I mean, the only thing I don't like about it is when I folded the side art over the red part, some of that didn't lay flat, and so it bulged out a little bit on some of the spots. So that's like, I love like 99% of this cabinet. That's the one thing I don't like. But other than that, this thing is impressive. I can't believe that I found a good cabinet first, which is the main thing. I can't believe how well this went together. It is so well designed from Neo Geo, from SNK. Making this cabinet, just the way that it's laid out, is simplistic. They thought about the location of the switches and the connections and all that. Everything turned out great. This is just one image. I got another one for you. Let's check this one out. Check out this beautiful arcade. Now, this is with the lights off. You can see that the credit LCD panels are working. Now, those are stock SNK panels. I did not have to change those out. Those panels are stock SNK. They glow bright. They look great. Absolutely love them. They credit up like they're supposed to. This is a shot of that completely in the dark. And then let's go check out the beautiful marquee that, no, this is obviously not. This is the one thing I did have to completely replace. The stock marquee illumination panels, the SNK panels, I don't know what they are. If they're electroluminescent, I don't think that that's what they are. There's something else. And they're not LCD. There's something, I don't know. There's something, I'm a moron when it comes to the technology of the original panel. But this is the new LCD replacement kit. And this is going to be the installation I'm going to show in the video coming out next week. This was easy. It looks incredible. I know the image kind of looks washed out now with the camera, but when you see it in person, you can adjust the brightness. It looks incredible. You can just, when you hit that game select button, it pages through the different games. I absolutely love the way that turned out. And then let me show you a picture of, and this is now, some people are asking, what games do I have in it right now? This will show you, boom. Here is the way this looks with the lights on. This is my marquee. These are the 4 games I have in my 4 slots. So I've got World Heroes, which is the first SNK game I played in an SNK cabinet. World Heroes, beautiful. These are all new marquee inserts, not original. So I have World Heroes, original cartridge. I have Samurai Showdown, original cartridge. Metal Slug, now these are the first games. Metal Slug 1, Samurai Showdown 1, World Heroes 1, the first one. All original cartridges. And then I have a 161-in-1, a multi-cart in the 4th slot sometimes. So let me explain what I'm talking about. So here is the multi-cart. If you're a fan of SNK and these games, if you have a 1 slot, they had 1 slot, 2 slot, 4 slot, and 6 slot cabinets. If you have a 1 slot cabinet, this is the cartridge you absolutely want. It'll do everything. It has 161 games. It has a generic menu, but you can pick any game you want and play. But when you put this in specifically this version 2, Series 2, there's a Series 3 that's out now. I don't know if it has the same problem. When I plug this in the 4th slot, any slot, as soon as I power up the cabinet, it defaults to this slot. It won't let you select a different slot. And then if this is in slot 4, on the marquee, the slot 1 marquee lights up. It's weird. So if this is plugged into the board, I can't select any of my other games. I have to select this one. So right now it's not in the slot. I have a shock box coming for it. It's a case. So I'll leave that on the shelf. When I want to play something different than the games I have in there, I will put this one in and play it. But to fully get the whole experience, I wanted to get a 4th real cartridge to go in there. And I'm a beat 'em up fan. And this was tough to get. It's on its way now. I ordered it last week. I got Shock Troopers coming. So I'm going to have World Heroes. I'm going to have Samurai Showdown 1, Metal Slug 1, and Shock Troopers. So those will be my 4 original cartridges. I'll leave them in there, and everything will work like it's supposed to. So far, with the 3 games in there now, all I have to do is just hit select game, and it moves over to the next game. And it's smooth. Everything works great. And the great thing about the Neo Geo, cabinets with multi-slots, I could get a collection of games and just, put them in and just go, but the games are expensive. You're talking about $125. Some of the games aren't bad. You can get it for less than 100. World Heroes wasn't bad. Samurai Showdown 1 wasn't bad. Metal Slug is expensive. I think that there's probably some chips that were replaced on my Shock Troopers cartridge. So it's not, I got to look at it when I get it. I don't think it's going to be 100% original chips from back in the day. So that hurts the value of that cartridge, but that cartridge was still $150. It is original SNK boards inside, the boards themselves, but some of the chips I think have been replaced. But that was still $150. So it's not cheap. So I think I'm going to be happy with those 4 games. And if I want to play something different, I'm going to put this one in and just play something different. I may even get the version 3 to see if it has the same issue with the 4-slot board. But yeah, I think if I just want to, those will be the 4 original cartridges. I'll leave those in there. But if I want to play Sengoku, which I love that series, well, 1 and 2. I love Sengoku 2, probably my favorite. But any other game I just can't afford, I can scratch that itch by putting this in, and it'll be fine. But yeah, if you're not familiar, these are the size of the cartridges. There's 2 boards inside, not one like an SNES. or a Sega Genesis, you've got 2 separate boards inside. There's a lot of bootlegs out there, so you got to be careful. There's some resources that can help you figure that out. But yeah, so I've had a great weekend, got a lot of stuff done. I got some stuff that I need to work on. You saw a sneak peek at what I'm doing with my X-Men 97 cab. So I'm really excited about what's going to happen about that. Lots to discuss moving forward. I'm excited about other things. Next week, I am going to do this show, and then I'm going to jump on over to Biggie D's channel. He invited me to come on, so I'm going to come on his channel, and we're going to talk about whatever he wants to talk about. I can't wait to see what happens next week, and we can maybe dig in a little bit deeper on that. But for the most part, I think we covered a lot of ground tonight. I'm glad I went 2 hours, and I went over 2 hours. There's a lot to talk about, a lot going on in arcades, pop culture. There's new products coming out like crazy. I got some New Wave Toys stuff coming. I got some Evercade stuff coming. Excited about that, those consoles. And the arcade is continuing to grow. And I have one gigantic, monumental arcade that has not arrived yet. Not arrived yet. But it is absolutely on its way. It's almost done. I got to double check and reach out to him again. But that is going to be the chef's kiss on this arcade. Would you look at that?
What the hell?
Yo, the sign is real simple, B. It says wrap it up.
Unfortunately, 2 hours later, it is that time to go ahead and wrap this episode up. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here. But before we go, we got to talk about that poll question. You had over 2 hours to vote in the poll. Here is the poll question. Once again, I'm going to give you a few more precious seconds to get your vote in. Here's the question. How would you rate or grade the Arcade1up Golden Tee Midway cabinet? A, exactly what I wanted. It's a buy. B, it's more good than bad. I'm going to buy it. Your option 3 is D, okay, but not for me, no buy. And then give it an F if you say it is a total miss. They missed the mark, no buy. Go to in the poll right now, 177 votes. Thank you, everybody, for voting in that poll right now. And let's see, where do we shake out? How do we end up? Well, coming in the number 4 spot is A, exactly what I wanted, with only 3% of the vote. But still, that's 3% of the vote. Somebody is going to buy this, and you're happy about it, and I'm happy you're getting what you want. Coming in at number 3 is a B. So that's more good than bad, with only 10% of the vote. So what's number 1? Well, coming in, is it a fail? Is it a D? It's a D. So the D grade gets the win tonight, but it just barely edges out the F grade. So the D grade, it's okay, but I'm not going to buy it at 43%. The F grade, they totally missed the mark, comes in at 42%. So 85% of this audience is not going to buy the cabinet. Whether it's a miss or it's just not for you, you're not going to buy the cabinet. And that speaks volumes for Arcade1up and where they're going in the future. For the other 13, 14% of you, 15% of you, I'm glad you're getting exactly what you want, because that's what this is all about. Anyway, everybody, thank you so much for stopping by and checking out the channel, hanging out with me for this super long episode. Unfortunately, members, there is no after show tonight because we had so much to cover tonight. I apologize. I'm going to make it up to you next week for sure. Everybody have a blessed day. Have a blessed week. Don't work too hard. I'll see all of you right back here next time. Peace.